up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm. Because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
And that is the close of the Detroit Pistons preseason. They start the opening night, you see there, against the Indiana Pacers, October 23rd. The Pistons, they fare well in these opening nights, but what you want to see is if this squad is finally forming an identity. Just got out the press conference with JB Bickerstaff, and he states he believes his team is. They've held 3 teams under 100 points. Every single winning Detroit Pistons team has had that one thing in common: defense. Say he wants his guys to play 5 guys on defense and leave nobody on the island. You can see it already. My standouts through preseason, Jaden Ivey and the rookie Ron Holland, he really showed me something. Can't wait to open the night. Let's rock. Hey, what up, though, people? We get a victory Thursday. Shout out to the Detroit Pistons. They in preseason. Guys, listen, they in preseason with a winning record. 3-2.
Let there be light.
Hey! See, as soon as we start talking about the Pistons in positive terms, because they're giving us an opportunity right now, light comes on. Keep it going, though, because what matters is what you do in the regular season. They do win 108-92. But what up, though, people? It's your boy Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network. How you doing this morning? And I see you wear your Jets colors again. It could be Woodward.
It starts right away. But,
it could be Woodward. I overlooked
the
that.
zip-up flannel. But no, it's funny because you know how I am. I've always been a proponent of no preseason victory laps. However, in NBA, it's a little bit different, especially with this Pistons team, because you're actually seeing real minutes from the starters, from the core, whereas with the Lions, you weren't. So it's more appropriate to victory lap over preseason with the Pistons and with the Lions.
And you know what else we saw? Not just more of minutes from our starters, but they were playing largely against the other team's starters too. Yeah. Last night, the Cavaliers played their starters into the fourth quarter. You got Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, Garland, Mitchell out there, Okoro out. These guys were playing all the way until early in the fourth quarter. And when I looked at the minutes in the box score, I was like, I didn't think our starters played that much. Only 7 minutes for each of our starters. The bench, when they first got in, I was like, whoa, what is going on? And then those guys started catching fire. Fontecchio, Ron Holland, and Beasley came in right away and hit like 5 of 7 threes. It was just like, you know what?
When have we ever had that?
I was like, you know what? I was like, we can sit in it. And the reason why, like you said, with the NBA, it's a little bit different because I'm looking at them doing this against Donovan Mitchell. He didn't have the best night. And who did I see harassing him? Ron Holland. It was stuff to like, and you just want to know if these guys can take it into the regular season. But when you listen to JB Bickerstaff, and we got some audio we'll do later in this segment, these guys are going to respond.
Yes, and holding any team, even if it's preseason, the magic number in the modern NBA is if you can hold a team under 100, even a third or a quarter of the time throughout the season, you're going to be a really good defense. Actually, that's probably even an exaggeration. If you can hold a team under 100 at least, 15 times throughout the year, those at this point are auto dubs almost because of how much offense is emphasized and the three-point shot and all of that. And that's what the Pistons have done in the preseason. That's what they did last night. And as you said, Cleveland starters played a lot more minutes than the Pistons starters, and the Pistons still won by 16.
Yeah, that's and that to me was the thing. I was sitting here like, wait, this is a regular season tune-up for these teams. And the Pistons were just like, no, we played our starters heavy. We know that they've been going longer during practices and during the training camp sessions. We know it's been very physical from the questions we're able to ask them at the media availabilities. And like we talked about yesterday, Malik Beasley said, no, we've been pushing harder. We've been pushing harder than I can remember. This stuff, like we're tired, and they're still going out there finding a way to be resilient. Because if you're going to be a team that makes that play in, you can't say, oh, well, we're a young team and we hit another wall. You can't have excuses like that. You have to find a way to break through because that's what all of the winners do. And I do believe that J.B. Bickerstaff and his team and Trajan Langdon, they're bringing a little bit of winning culture. Introduce the rest of the cast and the crew, and we could talk a little bit more about it. What up, though? Intern Chase? You're moving up the ranks soon, huh?
Hopefully, yeah. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing today? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling positive. I feel our teams are all trending in the right direction. I really do. Shout out to that dude, Justin, our brother Matthew Broder, this elite booth. What up, though? KG, Detroit's #1 draft pick in the sound booth.
Hey, what up, though, man? Hey, Matt, I fell asleep on that Pistons game last night, but you love what you're hearing out of that camp. Neil Rule confirmed it yesterday. You've been saying it all offseason. The vibe is absolutely different with this team. So when the regular season starts, I'm tapped in, man. I'm really excited for them. Also, we'll be a part of the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame later on tonight. We got a credential to be in there. Shout out to Braylon Edwards. He's going in the hall. But, yeah, looking forward to that. It's going to be an eventful day, man.
It is, man. It's an eventful time with Woodward Sports, especially with all of our squads kind of percolating right now. And us with the desire to just be boots on the ground and to support each other. And that's what tonight is going to be about. It's going to be fun. Shout out to Woodward Sports' MVP in the TD booth. That is JB Smooth.
J Bizzle.
Yo, what's up, fellas? Hey,
what up, though?
I wasn't able to tap into the Piston games as much as I should be, even though it's still preseason, but I did watch the WNBA game, so shout out to them. They won me some money last night, too. Okay, shout out to the Liberty.
Let's go. Well, you know what? Let's jump into this, man, because I got an opportunity to ask J.B. Bickerstaff a question in the press conference, as well as Simone Fontecchio. J.B. Bickerstaff we'll start with first because it's as it relates to Ron Holland, and I'm going to be doing an article so people can get to know a little bit more about who Ron Holland is, directly from him, his coaches, players, as well as what we've been able to observe from the media as well. But let's hear it from J.B. Bickerstaff himself.
Can you speak to the just overall training camp and preseason of Ron Holland? A lot of fans had some questions about who he was as a player, and I think he's shown a lot with the energy, the hustle, showing the ability to also stuff the stat sheet a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fierce competitor, and in this business, you can't use that word lightly. I mean, the only thing that matters to him is impacting winning, and I think it's impressive that at his age, he understands the intangibles that impact winning. His mindset isn't, well, I got to go out here and score 30 points, take 30 shots, or whatever it may be. His mindset is what needs to be done right now to help this team. And I think that's why he's fit in so well. And he can fit in with multiple groups on the floor because he has the ability, to just play the intangible part of the game and then figure out, offensively how he can help when he's aggressive in transition. If he's got the opportunity to take his threes, to catch and shoot them. So that's the thing that's most impressed me is how hard he competes, but how he figured out, already to impact winning with that energy and competitiveness.
Man, you love to hear it.
Love to hear that from J.B. Bickerstaff. It just seems like night and day from Monty Williams. I mean, Monty Williams and I got off on the wrong foot when he basically just said, those analytics. But no, for real.
You can't ever just poo-poo analytics. I don't care how much you love my own eye test or I've been there, I've played. Yeah. You can't.
But one thing that I wanted to clarify is that I may have been a little bit reckless saying, maybe if the Pistons can hold teams to under 100 for a third or a fourth of the games, that might be a little reckless because I did some research on the fly, and the number one defense in the NBA last year was the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they allowed 106 points per game and only allowed under 100 in 18 wins and a couple losses as well, but that's about a fourth of the games. The point is that if you allow a team less than 100 points, like I said, it's damn near an auto dub. And even though it was the preseason, this is a lineup, as you said, in which Darius Garland played, Donovan Mitchell played, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley played. That's impressive. Yep. I mean, they played damn near half the game, whereas the Pistons starters played about 8 minutes apiece. So that's impressive no matter what. And hopefully that can translate to the regular season, at least with an improved defense, which I think it will be.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? Let's talk to Simone Fontecchio real quick. Got a chance to ask him about where this team's mindset is heading into the regular season. Let's rock.
What's the mindset of the team now as you're looking forward to the start of the regular season?
We're going to come out and be the best version of ourselves and try to outwork every single opponent. And, we're young. We got a lot of energy. We got something like a little chip on our shoulder from last season, and we want to get back and we want to be better as a team, as individuals. We want to earn the respect of this team, of this league, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you. And you know what? Simone Fontecchio was on one last night, man. You see the vision. And there's going to be games when all of our shooters, or at least 3 of our shooters, are on, and it's going to look magnificently beautiful. You're talking about Tobias Harris, Simone Fontecchio, Malik Beasley. Bro, you don't have to, you're not going to have to wait long till you find a game where all of those guys hit 2 or 3 threes a piece in a game. And when I look through the box score, I'm just like, yo, they're really starting to piece this type of shooting together. Shout out to Jaden Ivey, too. I won't count last night's stats. 52% from behind the arc, 60% field goal throughout those 4 preseason games. There's something different about their shooting. Fred Vincent does get some credit, but the work that these guys are putting in to, as you heard Fontecchio say, they got a chip on their shoulder. And I'm so glad to hear that last year mattered. I am so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly mattered for Simone Fontecchio because when he was inserted into the lineup, all he did was average 15 a game on 48% shooting and 43% from 3, and the offense just looked better. And he's provided the shooting that Bojan gave you, but he was a much better defensive player. And hell, Simone Fontecchio's shooting was actually better than Bojan's last year. I honestly think, and maybe this is a bit of a stretch, but I'm feeling optimistic today, Simone Fontecchio could end up being the Matt Vierling of the Pistons.
Ooh. That's not a bad thing.
Because when Simone Fontecchio was acquired, I know that he did some things in Utah that we were excited about, but nobody predicted that he would be potentially one of your better shooters, one of your better offensive players of the future, kind of like Matt Vierling.
I got the tapes.
Hey, all right. Okay, you did. Yeah. But my point is, based off of what he did, I don't know if anybody could have foresaw 15 on 43% from 3.
It's insane.
It's
insane.
That's insane. And Matt Vierling was another one. Nobody really looked at Matt Vierling as a big acquisition from Scott Harris. He traded away Gregory Soto, and unlike Alavila trades, Scott Harris kind of fleeced the Phillies for Matt Vierling. So my point is that unheralded players who you didn't think a ton of when they were acquired if Simone Fontecchio has a Matt Vierling-like impact for the Pistons when you kind of cross-compare those sports, play in?
Listen, some people are starting to call for it, and I'm seeing people across the NBA landscape, I'm seeing people across the content creation and media landscape, they're starting to pay a little bit more attention to the Detroit Pistons, and you have to. They didn't go out and add scrubs, man. They added winners from winning teams who made lengthy playoff runs. On all the teams that those players came from, they didn't just have playoff aspirations last season or the season before. They had championship aspirations. We talk about how impactful that is for these other locker rooms across Detroit pro sports teams. I'm telling you, this is something that's been missing. When I see it's not just Fred Vincent, shout out to Kevin Burleson, brother of Nate Burleson. He's one of the assistant coaches as well. And Jamel McMillan taking his time from the Motor City Cruise to be at the gym as well. And then Tobias Harris over there, all working with Asar Thompson, all working with Jaden Ivey, all working with Ron Holland to try and make sure these guys can take the necessary steps forward. And just as a former hooper and used to be gym rat, to see that these guys have put the gains on, to see Cade Cunningham is visibly, bigger, more muscular. Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren is starting to get into that dunk everything phase. It's just a little bit different ferocity. And I won't say who said it, but there's somebody who thinks that late in the season that they might have just kind of quit on their team because they realized maybe Monty quit on them.
And maybe, just maybe, Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren can be as good as Brandon Podzinski. Maybe, just maybe. And this isn't a shot at Brandon Podzinski, by the way. He did some nice things with Golden State. But my point is that hopefully they'll find their way on that list, in the top 100 list when they're doing it at this time next year.
Yep, and shout out to you guys. Yeah, hey, you know what? Chat family, let me know your optimism. How you feel like this Pistons team is going to do. Do you believe they are actually playing worthy? Where are you setting their expectations at? To me, I'm going to tell them, go out there and take it, man. Go out there and take it. I like what I'm seeing, but they're going to have to definitely prove this in the regular season. But I want to make sure that we allow KG and Flannel as well to speak a little bit to their experiences. One of the cool things about covering the Pistons is the ability to go to a lot of the different charitable and community events that they're doing all around, not just Detroit, but all around the beautiful state of Michigan. And we got the opportunity to be at the wheelchair celebrity event. That was at Wayne State Fieldhouse. It was pretty cool. Rick Mahorn was in the building. I'm going to be posting some of that content later, and we're going to probably have some of that video and pictures and more stuff either tomorrow or next week. It was a cool event. Dr. Darius was in the building. DJ Joey Radio of Woodward Sports was in the building as well. He was one of the celebrities. Neil Rule was supposed to be there, but he was on a West Coast trip calling the game for the Pistons. He got called up to do that. But overall, it was an awesome time. Grant Long and others. Trick was there. I can't forget Coach Trick. Mikey Eckstein. It was just overall a good time. But you all are stepping into the journalism, the reporter type game as well.
Trying to.
Hey, you know what I mean? You guys handled it. I got some good reports. You guys handled it.
Hey,
appreciate that.
Me and KG got a picture with Hooper. You got to see. It's cool because we were at the Lincoln Park Fire Department, and you just see
renovations and restorations by Belfour and the Pistons.
Shout out Belfour.
And there were a lot of families there. The fire department was providing everybody with food and just general refreshments, and they had some promotional tables where they had like free merchandise and all of that. And it just goes to show you how important a relationship is between a community's fire department and their citizens. And that's just a good thing for the Pistons to be a part of, and for good relationships to be fostered between fire departments and citizens. I mean, you never know when you're going to need them. And like I said, people were just very, very excited. I know some kids got to go into fire trucks and all that and spray the hose. And what kid doesn't want to do that? Like, honestly.
It sounded like Flannel wanted to do that.
Right? He wanted to slide down the pole. I saw him looking at the pole.
I refrained, but damn, I probably should have.
No, I saw.
Get out of my way, young.
You're right. No, I saw him looking at that
like
pole.
someone that used to teach.
No, but it's just nice to see, something like the Lincoln Park Firehouse get put back into, man, because for a long time that place, it had its issues, man, and it's good that Belfour, shout out to Belfour again for some of the renovations that they made at that firehouse. It was absolutely amazing. They invited the community in, and it was just a good time, man, and I was happy, to be around the fire commissioner. Grant Long was there as well, so it was a dope event, man, and shout out to the Pistons for helping to support that.
Listen, we got those types of events all season when the community can be active and out there. We're going to tell you guys, and we're going to be out there as well. The next event coming up, it is October 19th, a free immersive event to celebrate the upcoming Pistons season, local food, culture, and music, and tip-off early voting. Lil Baby, Skilla Baby, Babyface, Ray Sada Baby, Peasy, and other local and national artists to perform. It's supposed to be like carnival-type rides, games, food from noon to 7 this Saturday. It's going to be a good time, and the community is going to show out. The StockX event, if you missed it, I'm telling you, you missed out. You don't want to miss out on this one. The Pistons dignitaries are going to be out there as well. So it's going to be dope, man. Yeah, it's going to be a dope time. Thank you guys as well for handling the event. Had something that came up, and these guys, they really, really, really shut it down. So
looking forward to the next one.
All. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, and you know what? I know we got a lot more on the docket. Our Jungle Cats, man, the Lions and the Tigers on the way.
Oh yeah.
But we had to make sure on this squad. You know what? We represent like the credentialed beat of the network. So
absolutely.
We keep you informed of what's going on with your teams.
I am genuinely curious to see where this show is going to go in terms of the chat's likability with Old Flannel Sam. I think it could go. I think it could go either way. But all I ask,
community man to Burnham.
All I ask is that you hear me out, and I will hear you guys out as well. But where you should what you should always hear out is when somebody tells you about Planet Fitness being the best gym in the gym game. That's for sure. It's fitness
Even
that fits your budget.
Wall.
Absolutely. Who needs no stinking rock wall? No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Hey, if you're dealing with divorce, child custody, or any other family law issues, criminal law at that, you need excellence on your side, and KDK Law of Birmingham is excellent, and they are available. They are located in Birmingham, and they will take care of all of your needs. It is not something that anybody wants to go through, but you will be thankful you went with KDK Law in a few years when your life is going exponentially better than you ever thought that it could be. So give KDK Law a call or visit their website and get yourself some excellence on your side.
If she don't support the Pistons, divorce her.
Hey, let's go, man.
There.
What up, though, people? Welcome to Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off your day with the WUW Crew. Man, yo, I really hope this Pistons stuff is not fool's gold. But one team I know is not fool's gold. These Detroit Lions, obviously, it definitely hurts when you're losing Aiden Hutchinson, but they still have so much talent, so much coaching, and honestly, that identity, it doesn't just go away. I believe that this squad, they got it right here in their heart, and they really do play for the city, and you hear the players saying that they want this one now for Hutch. But they still have, and I believe, if I can speak for everybody, in our opinions, they still need to make a move. And from everything we've heard, the Detroit Lions are out there trying to make moves, or at least kicking the tires. It's been reported that the Lions have reached out to the Jets regarding Edge Rusher Hasson Reddick. Should the Lions make this trade? I've heard polarizing. Nobody in the middle. Everybody's either like, yeah, you got to do it, or like, trash. I've heard Braylon who's like, yo, you got to make this deal. And I've heard others who are just like, why would they make this deal when they could do X, Y, or Z?
Well, I am, for the most part, in lockstep with Braylon Edwards, but I will give you this. I will give you some caveats, because with Hasson Reddick, there, of course, are a couple of red flags that some people may see as a deal breaker or non-negotiable. One, he hasn't played football at all this year. It's very hard to just go into a situation and just contribute right away without having played. He's going to have a little bit of rust. And the reason he hasn't played was because he was traded to the Jets and he wanted a new deal, a new extension, and himself, Hasson Reddick, and the Jets were not able to come to that extension, which means that if the Lions were to trade for Hasson Reddick, maybe he pulls the same stuff where it's like, if you're going to trade for me and I'm going to play for you, we might have to give you a new deal. However, and this is something, and I got to give credit where credit is due. I was actually listening briefly to Carson Anderson on 97.1, and their producer Kang brought up a good point that I hadn't really considered before. There is precedent this year to a star edge rusher not wanting to play for the team he was on a deal, but then getting traded and waiving those terms and actually playing on his last year of his contract, in which he is underpaid. And that, of course, is Matthew Judon. And as I said before, Matthew Judon probably recognized what I recognize, is that you put him on the Falcons and it's a damn good situation and they probably have a Super Bowl roster. If you put Hasson Reddick on this Lions team, I believe that he's the type of player that almost makes up for Hutch's production. And I get it. It might take him a couple of weeks to get going, but he's a guy who's had double-digit sacks for 4 consecutive years. He's been a perennial menace when it comes to getting after opposing teams' quarterbacks. And whether you like it or not, whether you, like myself, believe that playing the edge rusher position is a lot more than just getting sacks. You need somebody that can get to the quarterback and take him down. Not at the same rate that Aiden Hutchinson did, but at least somebody who has done it consistently. And with Hasson Reddick, maybe he would play for a better situation without getting a new contract. And even if you did have to give Hasson Reddick a new contract, which I have my doubts on whether or not Brad Holmes would do, it still might be for less money per year and a shorter term than what Max Crosby is currently making. It might be. Because in my opinion, Hasson Reddick's value has gone down. I don't think this holdout has helped him. I think it has hurt him. I think he needs to prove that he can can play football. I'm not saying he's lost his skills, but we all know what happened to Le'Veon Bell when he held out for a year. He was never the same. And I'm not saying Hasson Reddick is Le'Veon Bell. It's just I don't think this is a situation that if Hasson Reddick sits out the whole year, it will help him. I think it will hurt him. And maybe he's got that in mind. Maybe he would play on the last year of his contract for the Lions, a team that if you put him on and he is any semblance of what he was in Philly or even his last year in Arizona, this is still a Super Bowl favorite.
And you know what, KG? You've been consistent. You need that individual that you know can contribute to a Super Bowl right now.
Yes.
And what Flannel poses is correct. Like, if he plays, he can make an impact. But is this one of those players, despite the talent, is this one of those players, given all the circumstances that you believe, he's going to come here and he can make a difference?
Yeah, if he doesn't help you win a Super Bowl, he can definitely help you get to one. And I know from the outside looking in, you look at this thing, especially as a Lions fan.
But even with all the other intangibles, the contract stuff, out of shape, you believe he's still going to be able to step right in and just, maybe not out of shape. I'm sure he's still working.
Yeah, I'm sure he's still in shape.
But out of game shape, you believe, though, he's still that player that can step in here and give you what you want.
Absolutely. When you had the type of coaching staff that we have, I put nothing past anything in that building down at Allen Park. But you look at this from the outside looking in as a Lions fan, especially with, how they've built this culture and everything. And you look and you see, okay, Hasson Reddick, he hasn't played this year. He's been on 3 teams in almost 2 years now. So you kind of wonder, okay, maybe is it him? Does he have an issue? Is he a locker room problem? And when I said that he wasn't necessarily a culture fit, I wasn't talking about the player himself. I feel like, he would come into a situation like this and acclimate to the team, acclimate to the staff, and contribute to the team. I'm more so worried about it from the aspect of you would have to pay him, like Sam was, iterating. You would have to pay him a long-term deal. Now, how much money he would ask for, we don't necessarily know that. But I know that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, they aren't the type of people that normally take on guys that are chasing the money or chasing the bag. Yeah. So that's the only thing I worry about here. Because if you trade for him and then you don't extend him, and y'all don't make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, then it's kind of like wasted draft capital. So that's my only real concern. But the player himself, I would absolutely love to have him here. And then you look at the compensation it might take. They might accept like a 3rd or 4th round pick because that's what they gave up to get him. So, and there's caveats to this thing. Also, if they trade him to an NFC team, the Jets, I believe that the Eagles get they would get a 2nd round pick, I believe. I can't remember how that works.
They're more incentivized to trade within the AFC.
Yeah. Just real quick, Chase, can you just pull up whatever the Lions future draft situation is?
Well, I was going to mention that the trade that was mentioned on our Woodward Sports socials was a 2026 3rd round pick for Hasson Reddick. And maybe I'm undervaluing draft capital, which Lions fans shouldn't do that with Brad Holmes as the GM, but at this point in where the Lions are at this stage of the highway, I'm looking at Hasson Reddick for a 3rd versus the deal that was mentioned on the Woodward Sports socials for Max Crosby that included 2 firsts, and I'm like, Hasson Reddick, when he was on, the last 4 years, he's been damn near as productive as any edge in the National Football League in terms of getting to the quarterback and sacking him. So this, to me, seems like something that I would do. I wouldn't think twice about a 3rd round pick for a productive Hasson Reddick. Yeah. That's the question, though, of whether or not he's going to be too rusty or whether he'd even play if he doesn't get offered a new deal, whether a new deal would be too much for the Lions to swing, which Depending on the terms, I might not even blame them. It's just as a player, he is one of the few guys we mentioned. He's like a Trey Hendrickson or like a Harold Landry in that same room, maybe even better than Harold Landry, to where he wouldn't replace the production like a Myles Garrett or a Max Crosby, but if he is who he's been the last 4 years, he comes damn near close. And I think that's the move where the Lions' Super Bowl aspirations can stay where they are, which is one of the favorites.
Yeah. And you know what? Brian Roof from the chat, he kind of, I think it's what's on everybody's mind as well. Nobody wants to give a guy that's held out for 6 months a new 4-year contract before they even see him on the field.
I mean,
he puts facts.
But that's to me the risk that Hasson Reddick is taking. That's why I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world that if the Lions were to trade for him, that he would play under the last deal of his contract.
And we know that if they were to trade for him, to your point as well, we know that Brad Holmes would know if this guy's going to play or not for the Lions before he makes that deal. I don't foresee Brad Holmes making a deal to just take a flyer on a guy like a Hasson Reddick, and then he doesn't know if this guy's going to come here and actually play ball.
True, but I mean, you could have a situation where they just play him under the pretense right now, get all the way to the postseason, and then decide whether they want to extend him or not. Too, that's also an option. And just wanted to clarify, the Jets, they're already giving up a compensatory third, but if they trade it to an NFC team, they will be giving up a second-round pick instead of a third-round pick. So that's also something to consider.
Chad is so polarized. I don't find anybody that's like, you know what, I'm kind of in the middle. Everyone is like, no! Exclamation marks. And then the other half of it is like, no, we got to bring this guy in. He can help us get the Super Bowl.
It seems like bringing in Hasson Reddick would just be like having a more talented James Houston on the team. Someone who has been productive, but do you really rely on them? Like, we've seen James Houston in this team, and obviously the coaches don't believe in him. I don't think there'd be much difference in Hasson Reddick coming in, with the faith that this coaching staff would have in him. And, I mean, who knows what we're going to see out of him with these few games that we have left in the season. Going back, Kool-Aid, real quick, though, to go over the Lions draft picks. In 2025, the Lions own their own first, second, fourth, and fifth round picks, a sixth round pick from the Bucs, their seventh round draft pick, and a seventh round draft pick from the Cowboys. In the 2026 draft, they own all of their own picks through the first 6 rounds.
I got to push back on that a little bit, Chase.
Go ahead, KG.
No, because they have similar archetypes. Don't get me wrong, but Hasson Reddick, he is a 16-sack guy. He has 4
much more
consecutive seasons of 10 or more sacks. So.
Much more talented, much more proven.
Yeah.
But still the same question marks around him.
No,
like I
said, I couldn't always say that.
Do you think that? Do you rely on this guy to come in and produce?
He's had 4 double-digit sack seasons. James Houston had 1 7-game stretch where he was amazing.
You used to shit your pants too and get your diapers changed for you. That doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that Hasson Reddick has done it for 4 years and James Houston did it for 7 games. It doesn't matter at all. And I hear this too much on this airwaves, and I agree with KG. Stylistically, Hasson Reddick is more similar to James Houston than like an Aiden Hutchinson archetype, but Hasson Reddick has done this for 4 years. He's been one of the most productive pass rushers in the NFL for 4 years.
I feel like you're making my point. I said
what do you mean I'm making your point? Go ahead, James.
I said they're very similar players. Hasson Reddick's much better and much more proven, but I don't have any faith in either of them.
But here's the thing, Chase. At this point, do you have faith? And we're going to get into it more in the next segment. And your edge rushers being Josh Pascal, Cincinnati Bengals practice squad cast off Isaiah Thomas and James Houston. Are you okay with that?
I mean, I'm okay with us playing against the Vikings, playing against the Titans, and then deciding what we need to do then. I'm not trying to just react right away and just rip off this Band-Aid. The Chiefs had Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, and Michael Dana. Who were writing home about George Karlaftis and Michael Dana comparative to Chris Jones? You don't need an elite, top-tier 15-sack guy to win the Super Bowl. You need to have a very good defensive line, and part of that is playing as a team.
Go ahead.
You do when you don't have a dog on that defense. You just lost the best player on this defense.
Okay, we still have Aleem McNeil and DJ Reader. We act like we have nobody.
Okay, but Chris Jones is the best defensive tackle in the world.
I didn't say that those guys were better than Chris Jones.
And George Karlaftis is a double-digit sack guy, and he was a very highly drafted prospect coming out of Purdue, and Michael Dana had 6.5 last year. It's not like they're not the same as Josh Pascal.
I didn't say those guys were bad. I'm saying how many people are writing home about those guys. You don't hear them about nearly as much. and they're still a good team. They still won the Super Bowl last year. There's a lot of pieces on that Chiefs defense, and the Lions have a lot of pieces on this defense. One player does not make or break this team.
True, but you can't win without a pass rush. We haven't really seen that in the NFL. Yes, you have two really good interior tackles, but if you're not getting nothing from the edge and the quarterback has all day to throw the football, you're not going to win in this league.
Well, and to me, losing Aiden Hutchinson is akin to losing Chris Jones. They are two of the most dominant forces on the defensive side of the ball who currently play in the National Football League.
And they don't play the same position. Chris Jones disrupts the middle. Aiden Hutchinson's coming off the edge. Aiden Hutchinson was disrupting the edge last year, and look what happened in the NFC Championship game. We had no pressure up the middle. Now we have Aleem and DJ Reader to plug the middle. I feel like we're back in a position where we had Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh. We just don't have anyone on the edge like Stephen Tulloch.
This ain't the same league as back then.
Nobody.
That was 2014.
That's what I'm saying. We don't have anyone on the edge. We don't have, we need to do something about it. I'm not saying we need to rip off the Band-Aid and go do something right away. I don't think Hasson Reddick is the answer either.
As currently constructed, the Carolina Panthers have better edge rushers than the Detroit Lions in terms of who's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, I'm not going to blame Brad Holmes for players getting hurt, but that's factual right now, and it's really sobering when I even say it out loud. And I get it. The defense around is different, but we're Josh Pascal, James Houston, and Isaiah Thomas, Cincinnati Bengals practice squad cast off Isaiah Thomas, that's not good enough. It's just not.
And no one's saying it is either.
But my mind does.
But you deny Hasson Reddick though, and I get it. There's options that you probably would like better. But if Hasson Reddick was on the team, would you go to Allen Park and pick it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. And my mind does go to this place. I don't know if you guys think about it, but they've talked about trying to see how this thing is first before they make any decisions. It sounds like they could go the route that Chase is talking about, but then I do wonder what happens to the secondary. We do have Terry Arnold back there as a rookie. We're not going to sit here and sugarcoat the fact that the pass rush, we stated it all offseason that the pass rush was going to definitely, we all know this, help that secondary. If you're talking about now changing up the way that you're going to play and bringing down some of these safeties who have been great at staying back. Think about how much the pass rush has helped Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch be in position to make those interceptions. Now all of a sudden you're talking about bringing those guys down and leaving guys like Terry Arnold and Carlton Davis even more unprotected. They definitely, the more and more I just keep thinking about it, they definitely got to do something to beef up that edge rush if they want to keep up a Super Bowl pace. Do I think that they have enough to definitely make some noise still? Yeah, but when you're talking about winning a Super Bowl, the reason why I was so optimistic after we got to see this team rolling is because how each one of those phases were helped by what Aiden Hutchinson and that defensive line was doing.
Yeah, and getting a pass rush it's one of the most important things. And I question whether or not, if, let's just say, and hey, there's no iffy to even do that, and he was a demon blitzing from the safety position, but if they have to bring more pressure from linebackers or safeties, is it an advantageous position for Terrion Arnold or Carlton Davis to be left on islands with I don't know, some guy by the name of Justin Jefferson this week? And I'm not trying to be snarky. It's just when you lose Aiden Hutchinson, I still think some people just don't get how big of a loss that could potentially be. I see the same people that will victory lap that I was right about James Houston. He was just a flash in the pan all along. And in the same sentence be like, the defense is going to be fine. You think James Houston sucks. And in order for this defense to carry on without getting anybody, James Houston needs to be an approximation of what he was in 2022. And you don't believe that. So it's just losing Aiden Hutchinson is sobering. I'm not saying it's planets colliding or the sky is falling, but something has to be done. And I think Brad Holmes knows that. And I'm not pounding the table. It's got to be done before Minnesota. I'm not mad if they wait till the trade deadline, but you'll also get some clarity if they have trouble getting pressure on Sam Darnold, and then before the trade deadline, Jordan Love, it might be that aha moment where it's like, we can't have that cost this team a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of us with what we're saying with this, I don't even know if we know how to approach the loss of an Aiden Hutchinson. We don't know how bad this could affect the Detroit Lions, because we know just how good he was, almost historically good. This guy was on an insane pace, and now you're losing a guy who wasn't just getting pressures, but getting the quarterback down like we asked. The technique was there, and he was getting help from his friends too.
Yeah.
We don't know how much this could or couldn't impact, but I'm glad that at least with the conversation, we're hesitant to just act as if everything's going to be okay, even though we do trust Brad Holmes. We do trust Dan Campbell. We do trust some of the other position groups. And we do trust whatever process they take. But Aiden Hutchinson is always going to be a big loss.
Well, and before we go to break, the real K77, and this is a sentiment that I've seen a lot, and I don't even necessarily blame you with how he's performed this season. Why are we even mentioning James Houston? Dude is trash.
Exactly. Well, I wouldn't say trash, but we haven't seen him.
But that's trash. The thing though is, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, the real K77, but I don't want to hear you say James Houston is trash and then, but the defense is fine. So Isaiah Thomas, Cincinnati Bengals practice squad cast up Isaiah Thomas and Josh Pascal, and then maybe Levi O moving around. That's going to be who gets you pressure from the edge. I'm just saying, right. And maybe the real K77, you're aligned with me on that, but there's a lot of people who think that James Houston was just a flash in the pan and isn't going to do anything, and I don't blame you for that, by the way. But if that's the case, then we really are on red alert to get somebody.
You at least got to have the threat of a pass rush, because there's only so much you can do from the interior. Like, I do agree with Chase's point to a point, but if you don't have a person that can beat one-on-ones, man, this defensive line is going to have problems. And you don't want that. You can have the best secondary in the NFL. If the quarterback has 6, 7, 8 seconds to throw the football, they are going to get torched no matter who you have back there.
Well, what were we remarking about to start the season? The fact that quarterbacks had like a second less to be able to throw the ball. Each quarterback that was just putting up bananas numbers the weeks before were stepping up against Aiden Hutchinson in this pass rush, and they were timing it. It started to become something over a couple weeks that they were like, yo, this quarterback had 1.2 seconds less to throw, Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
And then it was Geno Smith. He had a second less. Then it was Kyler Murray. It's just like, is that going to be the same thing? Because if not, you can try and plug and build from inside. And we saw them try to do that last year, and they ran out of steam against the San Francisco 49ers. That's a real thing. I do believe, and I saw Real K77, he says, I believe in AG will be okay. I do believe in him.
No, for sure.
I'm still kicking around, what does it mean to truly lose?
You just don't want to be in that same situation you were in last year in the NFC Championship game, because that's when you got exposed. You didn't have a pass rush, but also your secondary was very much lacking.
And
you got exposed. You don't want to see that again.
Well, now we have a secondary who can cover much better. So, I mean, is that going to help our pass rush a little bit?
If
now
you can't get to the quarterback, it don't matter.
We have more interior rush presence as well. I mean,
they can key in on a DJ Reader. They can key in on an Aleem McNeil if your edges can't beat one-on-one coverage.
And we're not saying that they can't do it. That was just the question that started to arise.
We haven't even seen them play yet, and everyone just sounds really scared.
No, it's not being scared.
It's not that.
And you know what you're doing? You're downplaying Aiden Hutchinson.
I'm not downplaying him.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm
you're
not.
acting like he's like, if you don't replace him,
that's what I was trying to get at. That's what I was trying to get at.
Actually, not everything is fine. Everything is awesome. Josh Pascal's going to be a superstar.
Wait a minute.
The Lions are still awesome.
Everything is not awesome, and I agree. There does need to be someone put in place to help replace what you lost out of Aiden Hutchinson. But I still think right now we're kind of all freaking out just a little bit too much.
Thank you.
I do think we need to just sit back, relax, see what happens in this next game. If Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell see that there is something missing, that they know they're going to get exposed, then yes, they will go out there and reach out for someone before the trade deadline. But I don't sit here and expect Brad Holmes just to sit here and jump on anything that just comes his way possible. This Hasson Reddick deal, it seems nice. Flannel, I'll give you credit. He does have his disadvantages as well, too. This guy hasn't played this season, and I don't know if he's body game ready or whatnot, but still at the same time, he could give you slightly similar production than Aiden Hutchinson. But I do believe this is a shout out to Rob Beard from yesterday, a type of deal as well, too. Go out there and double up. Get two, just so you have some insurance as well.
There's one caveat here, though. We're not talking about this right now because it's just something that Bleacher Report put out. We're not talking about Hasson Reddick right now because it's just something that some social person just said, hey, let's just try and do a mock trade. This has been reported. We said, let's wait to see what Brad Holmes is going to do. It's been reported that the Lions reached out about Hasson
Reddick. Due diligence.
So we're talking about it right now because you have to parse the news. This is a reality. Nothing else that we're talking about other than the fact that the Lions reached out about Hasson Reddick is a reality, and we got to talk about that impact. And if that move, we'll all trust Brad Holmes. That doesn't mean that we can't have our own opinions about what's going on. It ain't got nothing to do about being scared I expect this Detroit Lions team, regardless of what they do, to go out there every day and do what Dan Campbell said they would during the first day on that podium. I expect that to be the identity of this team, but we do also have to pay a little bit of attention to the impact Aiden Hutchinson have and the impact that these players on the field do and don't have on the game. These things are going to change. Obviously, we've got to wait and see what's going to happen over a couple weeks. I'm actually okay with that premise, but I do want this team to do everything they have to, and I believe they will, to make sure this Super Bowl window, like Braylon said yesterday, is protected.
Yes, and for the record, Chase, you predicted the Lions to go 17-0. So anything short of that, I'm sure, is scared.
I mean, we went through game by game, and I was like, "Do you think the Lions will beat this team?" And I said, "Yes, every single time." Like I've said before, I'm always going to pick my team to win.
Okay, but what does that tell you then about your credibility on this matter? That no matter what, everything is going to be fine.
I mean, that's a game by game basis. If we want to talk about a season and break that down, that's totally different than going through game by game and asking who do you think is going to win.
All right, but 17-0 is a little ridiculous. And I want to get to this from Chuck Brewer really quick because I totally disagree with this premise in terms of last year compared to this year. And this is in quotes. If we don't make a trade, we won't be able to win a single playoff game, Detroit fans, October 2023. However, Aiden Hutchinson played. He was healthy. He effed Matthew Stafford sideways in that playoff game. He sacked him twice and hit him 5 times. He was healthy. Difference. And I'm not saying that the Lions won't win a single playoff game if they don't make a trade this year. It's just that the Detroit Lions do not win a single playoff game last year without Aiden Hutchinson. It just doesn't happen. As I said, he had a great season last year, but that game against Matthew Stafford in the Rams, in which Matthew Stafford, I'm sure, still sees Aiden Hutchinson under his bed, giving him nightmares, that was really one of the driving forces that won you the game. Yeah. So him not being here, that's different than not making a trade to replace some of his production and relying what you have on the edge rusher position currently.
And shout out to Corey Patterson in the chat. The funny part about all this is we have complained about Hutch help when he was healthy. All of a sudden we will be fine. We had this problem when Hutch was on the field. So I'm just saying, we got to do something.
That's and I'm not Hasson Reddick or bust or anything. I've given you. I even gave you options to where I could maybe be like, Azeez Ojulari's okay, but that was more from the mind of a Brad Holmes. It's just, as of right now, we're in a situation where how we're currently constructed, even an Azeez Ojulari would be a huge upgrade, even though I don't know if he would be a needle mover. So that just shows you what situation their pass rush is in right now, because Marcus Davenport, remember the first game? What did I say after the first game against the Rams? Damn, that looked like some really good bookends. And now they are no ends because none of them will play for the rest of the regular season. That's a problem. Is it a problem that the Lions can't solve? No, but that's a big effing deal.
Hey, you got the chat riled up, man.
I'm sure I do.
For going at Chase's credibility.
Yeah, Sam coming at somebody else's credibility.
Hey, at least I'm honest. At least I don't predict undefeated seasons for the Lions. That's irresponsible, Chase. With all due respect,
you're painting a different picture. We went through game by game. It's like, Chase, do you think the Lions can beat this team? I'm going to say yes every time. If you were to ask me, like, let's go through the schedule and what do you think it's going to be? I mean, obviously we're already like 7 weeks into the season, and it's easy to go back and say like what you thought, but like that's not what the question was. I answered the question that was put in front of me. You're trying to change to what it is.
No, but Chase, Lions 85 Bears. Who you got?
What do you mean? How can you play that game?
I'm just saying.
I'm going to pick the Lions.
That's ridiculous, dude.
How is that ridiculous?
I might take the Lions, too. Today's Lions versus the 85 Bears, I might take that.
Yo, Sam, you ever seen the movie Little Giants? I'm going to go Junior Floyd on you. Even if they beat you 99 times out of 100, all it takes is one time. Ed O'Neill, shout out to JB's Polk High team. I forget his name there, but he's the older brother to Rick Moranis. And he's like, I used to race Danny every day down Cherry Hill, and every day he'd beat me. But one time, I beat him. He ate my dust.
This isn't the movies, Chase.
No, but you're asking one game, and it's like I'm crazy to pick my team to win one game. Like, you're insane.
Do you think Lions or the greatest show on turf? Lions or the undefeated Patriots? I get it. They didn't win the Super Bowl.
They lost to the Giants. Hey, they lost to the Giants. You just answered your own question.
Hey, you know what? And you know why they lost to the Giants? Because the Giants effed Tom Brady with their pass rush. Something that I don't believe the Lions can do as currently constructed. I'm sorry. Hater flannel right here. because you all downplay Aiden Hutchinson. And not you all, some.
But that's why I wanted to have the conversation, and be able to articulate part of it. Like, you know what? Are we? Are we? Do we even know? Like we talked about, do we know how to process as fans of a team with Super Bowl expectations, even how to be? And I think it's a fun exercise to sit and think. Aiden Hutchinson is really not here for the rest of the season, and everything else that's a realistic possibility is going to come up short.
Chase, would Jared Goff throw for 350 and 4 touchdowns on the 2000 Ravens or 405 touchdowns? Which one? Would David Montgomery run for 110 and Jahmyr Gibbs 100 on the 2000 Ravens, or
Sam,
just both 80 or something?
If it are 100 sunshines worth 500 rainbows, like
what the fuck are you talking about?
You're just making up hypotheticals right now. I'm doing the same for you.
So about the break right now. So about that break
that we absolutely blew.
NBA playoff game last night.
Right, break it up, guys. Break it up.
All right.
Break it up.
Our fighting guys in the booth there.
I'll tell you what.
Clean break.
How much do we have to do here, JB?
We got a lot to clean up. So let's just.
They sit up here clenching and shit. Come on now.
We got to find the like button on the other side of the break, y'all. We got to
let's run through Woodward and Maine, New Holland, and Sabbath Coffee.
All right. Hey, Detroit, on game day, wake up with Woodward and Maine, your source for all the insider information on the defending NFC North champions, your Detroit Lions, with insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready, Detroit, every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. Woodward and Maine, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Tully Your Local Long Drink, Sabbath Coffee, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. And then, of course, watch the pregame show. Look at those trustworthy men talking about the Detroit Lions. Who wouldn't want to listen to them? It's the New Holland Brewing Company pregame show. Every game day, Neil Rule and Sean Belegian bring you the best Lions pregame show. Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon on Woodward Sports.
I need more
live
from
at
Hutchs.
Second Best Bar in Detroit. The latest injury reports, fantasy sit and starts, and the inside scoop on your Detroit Lions. Join us for every Sunday home games live at Second Best Bar in Detroit. Your official guide to Lions game day on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Tully Your Local Long Drink, Sabbath Coffee, Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, and Les Stanford Chevrolet.
The Tangerine Space Machine, the new easy drinking IPA that is out of this world.
Ooh.
It's smooth, it's juicy, refreshing crushability. Take your taste buds to the moon with Tangerine Space Machine.
Yep.
So you mean that when Flannel punted Killian Hayes to the moon, he got to taste this?
He got to taste it as well too. We won't hear back from him because he's on the moon. So we,
Mr. Regal,
we have no
know what
connections
that's
with him
about.
as well. But grab yourself a can of this intergalactic haze of goodness, the official beer of outer space, brewed by New Holland Brewing Company out of Holland, Michigan. But if you don't like the IPAs, we always got Sabbath Coffee for you.
Oh, man.
Pull together.
I'm looking at the chat, bro. It's awesome time.
Yeah, they wow.
It's just a good time in the chat.
Oh no, Chase, that's because they like you. That's why you enjoy it. Because we're all a bunch of slapdicks in the chat, with all due respect.
No respect on that at all. Go ahead.
Damn, he went John Brown on
with all
everybody.
due
Slap
disrespect.
dicks. Said slap dicks like John Brown.
Let me get that 5 seconds. Sabbath Coffee is good to us. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fuel your Lions fandom, your Detroit sports fandom, your Wake Up Woodward fandom with a perfect cup, and become a subscriber of Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Whether you're geared up for a big game, I'm not going to get through this, or savoring a quiet morning, Sabbath Coffee Roasters has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. Head to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com. Choose your favorite roast. Use code Woodward to get 25% off your first subscription order. Sabbath Coffee Roasters.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Walking any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today, open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a $20 haircut special. Scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Take advantage of our $20 haircut special. All you got to do, scan the QR code somewhere on this screen. I'll give you a few more seconds to find it.
Kool-Aid like whips and chains.
Hey, and get,
Like a little
get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
And while you're getting that hot lather shave, play some bets with Caesar Sportsbet, the official sports book of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan the QR code on screen. Use code Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, and all you have to do is place a minimum bet of $20. And if that bet does not hit, they will put it right back into your account. No joke. Caesar Sportsbook, the official sports book of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan the QR code. Use code Woodward1000 and make some money today.
What make you think I like whips and chains, KG?
Because you just had one in your hand. That's why.
That's just nasty. Just nasty.
He don't want to hurt nobody.
Where am I getting these things from?
Attention
sports fans. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Everest, where he's offering you top-notch injury advice. You guys gotta trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Right, Flannel? Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
Well,
welcome back. You know what? We gotta satisfy the like button, bro.
Do we?
Everybody needs to join. Everybody sing.
Yeah.
Right.
Family.
Yeah. Come on, fam.
Hey, listen, Kool-Aid don't want to hurt nobody, man. He just trying to put his leather on, but you at home, you can put your leather on too. And while you doing that, just go ahead and satisfy that like button. And you know how we want you to satisfy that like button. Tap it real nice and real slow.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody that sing like that got leather pants, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. You might have the whole little suit, the little vest and shit.
The little vest and shit.
Oh my gosh. All right. Maybe this next player that's also been brought up in mock trades is going to be a little less divisive.
Maybe.
I doubt it.
I doubt it, right.
I doubt it.
Za'darius Smith. We got to revisit this trade potential. I've seen other people now go out there and mock this to the Detroit Lions as well. And this everything. I'm hoping that everything is about through the lens of the Lions' Super Bowl expectations. What helps keep that preserved? Does Za'darius Smith do that for you, Flannel?
I don't think they're still the Super Bowl favorites with Za'darius Smith. There's always scenarios where they can get into the playoffs and maybe still even get the 1 seed and get some favorable matchups, but I don't think Za'darius Smith is enough to keep them as Super Bowl favorites. I honestly think, and I know Chase isn't going to like this and a lot of people aren't going to like this, I think if you just replace Hutch with a Za'darius Smith type of production, given the fact that he's 32, given the fact that he has been, for the last year plus, the bookend, not the guy, I think the division is in jeopardy. I do think Za'darius Smith, if you acquire him and he's under contract for next year, the Detroit Lions are Super Bowl favorites next year when you can have Hutch and Za'darius Smith as bookends, but I don't think that's enough. He's not anywhere near Hutch. He's better as a bookend. He's certainly an upgrade, but I would do it but it's not near the Hutch level production that you need to attempt to replace, or probably can't replace, but need to at least come close.
I do want to just preface something just really quickly before we get back into that talk, just so you guys know.
All right.
Flannel wanted Chase in that chair. He understood the treat that it could be for you guys. All right,
Yeah.
so.
No,
he did. He was like,
that's big
I really
facts.
want him in the chair.
Flannel Sam has finally met his match, and as somebody that's going at Sam, I'm happy to see it. So, but no, I totally agree with what Sam said. The only thing I kind of push back on is the division, because I mean, at this point I could care less about the division. Not to say I don't want to win it at all, but I'm all about just getting to the playoffs. And with Za'darius Smith, you will absolutely get to the playoffs. It's just about what you do in the playoffs that matters to me at this point. But I agree. I just don't think he's enough. And he's 32. He's not the oldest, but he's not that dominant pass rusher that you would need him to be, especially in the absence of Aiden Hutchinson. Now, with him and Aiden together, then maybe that looks a little different. But to Sam's point, he's always been the bookend, not necessarily the guy, especially at this point in his career. The only reason I would really like this deal is because of the compensation. You wouldn't have to give up a lot in order to get him. And the Cleveland Browns are really, really in a compromising situation, man. They are staring at being $40 million over the cap going into this next year, and then they've already restructured Deshaun Watson contract once.
If I remember correctly, when Mike Payton from A to Z Sports was doing his hypotheticals, I think he said a 4th round or a 5th round for Za'Darius Smith, which, I mean, I get it. A 4th round could turn into Amon-Ra St. Brown, but when we're talking about helping your team right now, when you've already made the draft picks that make your team a Super Bowl contender, I don't think that's too much to give up for Za'Darius Smith. But I also am not sure if that's what puts you over the top to being right back at Super Bowl favorites, which you certainly were when Aiden Hutchinson was there.
Yeah. And you know, M.I. Coney, he said, y'all are talking like our offense isn't elite. Our defense can still do enough to hold on. Our offense can put up the points.
We had an elite offense last year in the NFC Championship game. You saw how that happened. So I'm just saying.
I feel you on that. For me, what I've realized is going into a Super Bowl run, you want more soldiers than not. And you want to make sure that at each position, you know that you have more than serviceability out there, because Jerry Jacobs, serviceable. Kendall Vildor, serviceable. If Kendall Vildor wasn't, he would not be back on this squad. We all say we trust Brad Holmes, but we all saw what happened in that NFC Championship game. They just didn't measure up. And that's the conversation that we're really having today is there somebody that can help the Lions measure up? And there are some players that are gettable. Za'Darius Smith is, in my opinion, probably not that. I see a lot of the chat. They agree more with you.
He's good. He's good.
Yes.
But I have to respond to something in the chat because
Talk about it.
It's going to make me want to gouge my eyes out, with all due respect. And I hope you're trolling Brian Ruth, but this is where we talk about new money, Lions fans. I'm going to make up another term which people are really, really going to hate, but I don't give a damn. And I'm not talking about anybody in the room. It's the uppity Lions fans. This is from Brian Ruth. I don't want to be the Super Bowl favorite. I want to win the Super Bowl like the Giants did against New England in their perfect season. Facts. So you want to make a distinction on how the Lions win a Super Bowl? What the F are we talking about? They got their first playoff wins since 1991 last year, and before then, your last playoff wins were before the Super Bowl era. That, to me, that's just nonsense. I hope that you're trolling, but it's an effing Super Bowl. And oh, by the way, people act like wild card teams going on the road. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It happens every single year.
Look at the Chiefs.
It doesn't. It doesn't. The Giants did it a couple of times, but were the Patriots ever little engine that could underdogs? A lot of the time, they didn't even have to play road playoff games. The Kansas City Chiefs, they played a couple last year, but on their first 2 Super Bowl runs, never had to play a road playoff game. The division is important whether you guys like it or not.
All right, Brian Roof just followed up his statement with an anti-Dan Campbellism.
Oh, well, then that shows
I just
you about
don't
him.
want to be the hunted. The thing is, to win these games, yeah, you see some of these teams sneak up, but they're not building for just a flash in the pan. They have already accepted that they're the hunted, and they said, you know what, you don't gotta look far. Quote unquote, Dan Campbell, we will be on your porch, bro. Just open up the door. We're not gonna, break in and rob or grand larceny or anything. But if you want to go fisticuffs, we're here waiting for you because we heard that you guys are looking for us. That's the mentality you have to have if you're going to win multiple Super Bowls. That's where I believe Brad Holmes' mindset is for this squad. And if it's not, then what game are we really playing? Let's have some cute seasons. They've already stated, again, their quotes, we're not in this thing for cute seasons.
Sure. And I think Cody Ingle nails it on the head. We definitely need to win the division first and foremost. And I'm not saying that the Lions can't go on a Super Bowl run if they're a wild card, but I don't want...
You said that preseason.
But yes, I did. I don't want the Lions to have to play all of their games on the road. They are a team that's capable, in my opinion, of making a move and maybe even still getting the 1 seed. Because look at San Francisco and look at Philadelphia. Those are two teams that you thought were going to be in contention. I mean, look at the NFC West as a whole. I don't believe, if my memory serves me correct, that any of those teams are even above 500. I mean, do we... I get that the Washington Commanders have way outdone the preseason expectations, certainly Chase's preseason expectations, but I think the Lions, if they make that move, if they win the division, I honestly think whoever wins the NFC North is the 1 seed at this point. I do.
That's true.
Because
that's real.
The Eagles,
all the metrics are saying that this is clearly the best division.
Because look at the Eagles. They're talking about Nick Sirianni potentially being fired. We look at them having a lot of trouble with the lowly Browns and him yelling at fans.
And they got all the talent in the world.
What?
Yes.
You got teams that were supposed to be good, not teams that weren't supposed to be good. Well, Commanders are good. You got already trade season. I don't know if when I was younger, this stuff went on and I just was missing it. But it seems like there's like a lot more trades going on in recent NFL history. You already got that going on. You already got coaches being fired. And realistically, I know that Aiden Hutchinson is a big loss, and that's going to be some adversity that the Lions have to get through. But everything else about what this organization is, how metered and measured they've been, how everything that they've done has effectively worked out. I'm not talking about all of the little micro moves, but everything from a macro level has worked out. It does put me at ease that they're going to work this thing out. Shout out to Danny G in the chat. It's not going to be nearly the same without Hutch, but this defense has plenty of talent to support the offense enough to win. And I do agree with that. I do agree with that. You want to see them beef up that edge rush because we saw that it affected them last year when they had Aiden. This year, like Chase said, they did beef up the middle. They reinforced the interior. But you still want to see if they can get some edge help to be able to bolster. We're talking about a Super Bowl.
Sure, and I think this game against the Vikings coming up, to do a quick little preview before we get into the meat and potatoes of the preview tomorrow, I think this is a very important and good test for this newly Aiden Hutchinson-less Lions defense, because the Minnesota Vikings, I think at the interior of their offensive line, they're at a disadvantage going up against the Reeders and the McNeils and the Levi Onwuzurike's, but the Minnesota Vikings have really good tackles. Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill, I think if they're looking at it from, oh my goodness, all we got to do is stop Isaiah Thomas and Josh Paschal and maybe James Houston and maybe Levi O, I think the Vikings have the advantage in that matchup. And I'm interested to see how important and how often the Lions defensive tackles can get that interior pressure. Because at some point, I believe, if you're going to win the game against the Vikings, you're going to have to put Sam Darnold on his ass when he still has the ball in the backfield a couple of times. And as much as I love Aleem, as much as I love Reeder, as much as I love Levi Onwuzurike, or I've grown to love Levi Onwuzurike with what he did in training camp and this year, they're not guys who I think you're going to count on for huge sack numbers like a dominant edge. So I just think it's a good test. I think some people are overlooking the Vikings. I still think the Lions can beat them, but those tackles versus a Hutchless and Davenport-less edge rushers, it's a big test.
I do believe they can beat the Vikings. I'm just going to say it. We'll say the final score predictions for tomorrow. I believe the Lions are going to beat them. I believe they're still going to be able to get pressure on a Sam Darnold who hasn't quite faced some of the type of pressure that I believe Terrell Williams and Aaron Glenn can scheme up. I don't want to, as much as we say we don't want to understate the loss of Aiden Hutchinson, I also don't want to undersell the season that Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch and some people on this defense are having as well. Aleem McNeil, it's just like, you know what? I believe in this defense. I believe in this team. Aiden Hutchinson is a huge loss, and they got to do something. We want as much as we can in that militia when you're talking about going and winning the big one. But I definitely don't want to disrespect inadvertently those other guys. We want to see some people on the defensive line step up. But man, Brian Branch has just been ecstatic, electric to start the season.
They've been the best safety tandem in the NFL as of right now, and that's certainly going to help. But Brian Ruth, you taketh away and now you giveth, because you actually put something smart in it, and I'm going to read that too, just so I'm fair. Let's see how Minnesota looks when they can't run the ball Sunday. And you know what? The Minnesota Vikings, I mean, Aaron Jones has had himself a really good season. I don't know if he plays this week. I don't know his status of his injury, but he's been good. He's helped the Lions. I mean, he's helped the Vikings offense, and he's helped Sam Darnold take the pressure off him, certainly. Even Ty Chandler, he's looked good when he's gotten some carries. If the Lions can still neutralize that, that is going to help things. That might be the golden ticket to the Lions ultimately winning this game. But the other end of this end of the coin to that is that Aiden Hutchinson is very good against the run. I don't think he makes as big of a difference his absence against the run as he does when it comes to rushing the passer, but that's going to be something that has to be accounted for as well. But I have no doubt, even as somebody who is a little skeptical of the Lions making the Super Bowl without Hutch, I don't have any doubt about them still being a dominant run defense.
Yeah.
I appreciate that outlook and that take as well. Because people just trying to be real. I still expect them to go out there, and I saw, I believe it was Art Vandelay who say they didn't work it out last year. Last year they didn't have Super Bowl expectations. They had a team that could have gotten there, but we did not start the season believing Super Bowl.
No.
This season, everybody from the front office to the coaches to the players to the fans to the media are saying Super Bowl expectations.
They're in the window.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I do trust in Brad Holmes to work that out. I really do. Last year, I believe that there were still certain aspects of assessment, because you had to spend the money right this offseason. You had to know exactly what you were going to fortify, because you want to build something, you want to win as quickly as possible. So I do trust in Brad Holmes to figure this thing out. When we talk about which route we would personally want to, of course, we're going to get into a little bit about our own. But is anybody going to really doubt the moves that Brad Holmes makes?
Not at all.
You can't,
at all.
because he showed too much. And just before we move on, as of right now, I had to clarify, Aaron Jones is listed as questionable, and as of 15 hours ago, he didn't practice in either their last practice or their practice before their last practice.
They traded for Cam Akers, too.
They did.
Fire up Cam Akers.
I'll tell you what, though. Aaron Jones not playing or potentially not playing, and I know we're going to get on this more into this tomorrow, that to me is something that could swing the game in the Lions' favor.
Absolutely.
Whereas before you might have picked the Vikings to win, them not having Aaron Jones can be that big of a difference to where you change your prediction. Not saying that was ever my prediction, but Aaron Jones is, when he's on, he's a lifetime 5 yards per carry guy, and he's been really good for the Vikings this year, especially given the fact that he was taken over for Alexander Madison, who was always a backup and is always going to be a backup.
Funny boy, Roddy. Say it with your chest, man. 6-0 income, so you must be a Vikings fan.
Ooh.
You must be a Vikings. Sorry that the ride ends this Sunday for
Hey.
you. I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for you, brother. Hey, but thank you for being here. I hope you've at least satisfied, smash, hit, whatever you like to do to the like button. I hope that you've done that. Definitely. Thank you for being here this morning.
He coming up a little short on that. Short stroking, man.
Yeah. Because just because you get satisfied doesn't always mean your partner gets satisfied. And in this case, it's the like button. Just because you're satisfied doesn't mean the like button is satisfied.
Hey, that's word from Big Musket, boy. He knows something about that.
King, was that a bar?
That's a bar.
What up,
Confirmed.
Chase? I saw your face.
Yeah, KG, I don't know if that was a shot at him or not.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Well, I mean, Kool-Aid, you started it. You started it.
He did.
Now, more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss will make sure that your current carrier is not slipping in anything extra. They will protect you, okay?
Vikings slipping.
Hey, listen, go.
Take that.
They can't help the Vikings from what's about to happen.
Them second halves been slipping for the Vikings.
Listen, bro, they can't. Listen, Vikings, you guys, and Roddy in the chat, you guys, Swiss can't help you. The Lions are just about to romp. Call our guy Mark at Swiss Insurance today if you're anybody other than the Vikings or Roddy. 313-530-1698. Visit them online, SwissINS.com. Tell them that WUW Sports sent you.
And the Salvation Army.
The Salvation Army. Have you ever wanted to volunteer but you don't know where to start? Start with the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. Visit registertoring.com to sign up for shifts. You'll have an opportunity to choose a 2-hour session at a physical Red Kettle site or participate in a virtual bell ringing shift to raise funds from the comfort of your own home. Virtual bell ringers can sign up and begin raising funds at any time. Traditional bell ringing begins on Friday, November 7th and runs through Christmas Eve, excluding including Thanksgiving and Sundays. To sign up for volunteer shifts, visit registertoring.com.
I love how Big Must.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Hey, you know we driving. Hey, you know we riding. Hey, right down Woodward Avenue, man. The legendary Woodward Avenue. All 4 pro sports teams getting busy in the month of October, man. Hey, October in the D. Wish it was still going on for our Detroit Tigers. I really do. But it was still a special season, and we're hoping that they have a lot more on the way. But first, they got some business to handle, man.
You know what? I've got a little thought exercise for everybody here and everybody in the chat. So one of the great things about making the playoffs without really having that splash move in the offseason that a lot of people wanted is that a lot of these guys that you perceive to be members of the core really stepped up and showed out. So now that the season's over, I've got a list of some names on the Tigers, and I want everybody in this room to either say if they are either part of the core, have a lesser role on the Tigers, like a utility type player, or they are expendable. I'm going to go around the room and end with myself. My number 1 player, starting with you, Kool-Aid.
Yes, sir.
And if you say yes, you don't have to explain. If you say anything other than yes, you do. Number 1, Colt Keith.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Chase?
Chase?
I'm sorry, I was doing the clips.
Oh, you know what? No, never mind.
He was scaring me for a second. He's silent on Colt Keith.
Chase, if you're busy, go ahead. I won't.
Colt Keith is the future. Like, he's part of the future.
Okay, fair. Yes. JB?
Oh, definitely yes.
I'm going to go yes as well.
They paid him. There's kind of no choice on that.
That's fair. But even if they didn't, his play this year.
Yeah.
Number 2, Reese Olson.
Ooh.
Yes.
Absolutely.
JB?
Oh, yeah, definitely for me.
I'm going to go yes as well. Number 3, Parker Meadows.
Mr. Reclamation Mud Hens man himself. Yes.
No brainer. Yes.
JB?
You just got beat by a man named after a park.
Hell yeah. Yes. And I'm going to go yes as well. And this is where I know
it's about to start.
No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't.
This is where this might be a little bit more complicated. Jake Rogers.
Of course. The stash stays.
Yes.
It's a stash. He has to stay.
If Scooble's on this team, he stays.
I am going to go as having a lesser role, but not part of the core. And let me explain.
But still on the team.
Let me explain before you guys get your pitchforks out. Last season, he started 86 games behind the plate, and he started all of Scooble's starts. That, to me, is about what he should be again. And he does need to hit better. And to his credit, he was fantastic in the playoffs, one of your best hitters. But last season, I am going to hold it against him as far as being a core player that his batting average was under the Mendoza line and his OPS was .607. So I want him to have the exact same role as he did last year, this past year, coming forward this year, but I'm hoping that Dylan Dingler takes a leap, or maybe that they make another move with a catcher in free agency.
Yeah, that's my thing. You want Dylan Dingler to be the starting catcher for this team?
No. 86 is the majority of the games, man.
Here you go with the Dingler bang shit. It's not catching Kool-Aid, I'm sorry.
No, Dylan Dingler was worse than Jake Rogers at the plate. Don't get me wrong.
No, for sure. And not to say he can't improve, but I feel like, and yes, I do agree that Jake Rogers does need to improve at the plate, but he is also somebody that at the catcher position, they are notoriously not good hitters. Loud, should he be better? Yes, but I feel like he's just fine for what the Tigers want to do.
But a batting average starts with a 1 isn't fine.
No, of course not. And like I said, he does need to improve a little bit at the plate, but he doesn't need to be, like 20 home runs or anything like that.
He needs to be maybe in between what he was in 2023 and 2024, preferably what he was in 2023, where he had over 20 home runs and had an OPS in the 700s. I would love that.
Yeah,
I'd give anything for that, Jake Rogers. That's why I said something similar to what, to me, a core catcher is somebody who you can put behind the plate like 110, 120 times. I don't think Jake Rogers is that, but he has a role on this team, and he showed me something in the playoffs.
Just real quick, would you add somebody from the outside, or would you just keep what you have?
I'd probably try to add somebody.
Okay.
Maybe like an Elias Diaz, although that could put a Jake Rogers.
But I do appreciate keeping him on a roster in your scenario, because when you get into the playoffs, I believe you want guys like Jake Rogers on the team who, in baseball, one of the more superstitious of all the sports, he has that mojo, man. And a guy that can come up big for you, and a guy that can steady behind the plate when you might have to go through 4 or 5 pitchers in a game. I like what Jake Rogers brings to the table, especially in the postseason.
That's fair. So we all want him on the team. I just maybe had a little bit more of a caveat to that. But he's going to be on this team, and even I agree, the one who people think is a Jake Rogers
in
hater.
a lesser role, but
number 5.
I appreciate the way that you put that with Jake Rogers.
Okay.
People should not be pitchforking that.
Thank you for that. And people aren't, for the record.
You can't. He the walrus, man.
Number 5, Casey Mize.
Ooh, it's getting tough. It's getting tough. A yeum is never good.
Rando Smalls, to answer your question, Cal Raleigh. But we will move on. Go ahead.
I'm still deliberating. KG.
You want to go ahead?
Yes, but in a lesser role. I just don't think that he has the same stuff that, he was drafted when he was drafted 1-1 that you expected him to have. He's been through a lot of injuries at this point. I would keep him on this team, but I think he's not necessarily a starting pitcher going from this point on. I would like to have him as maybe a long relieving option, but as far as a starter in this pitching rotation, I think that ship has sailed.
That's where I'm just like, do they have the ability to make some upgrades? Like him, I know there's other people on this.
They got to add arms. So if they add starting pitching, he's going to be the odd man out in this case.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that's where I was like, yeah, I agree with your premise, but it's like if they make the upgrades that we want to see them make, then the answer is he's probably not a part of this core.
That's fair. JB.
I like KG's answer, yes, but in a lesser role. I kind of want to see it again just for one more season.
Yeah.
But give him, the back end of that pitching as of right now. But yes, as of right now.
I am going to go expendable.
Oh.
Because all we've seen out of Casey Mize is that when he pitches, he's relatively mid and he's always hurt. Even this year, which was supposed to be his season where you didn't put too much stock in. You'd understand if he was a little bit rusty. We just wanted to see him pitch a lot of innings coming back from Tommy John and another injury after that. He got hurt catching a pop fly. And I'm not saying that that's like, well, actually I am, because it's a professional baseball. In 59 career starts, he has an ERA of 4.36, a WHIP of 1.30, and has 226 career strikeouts in 291 innings pitched. And when he was drafted, he was supposed to be a star. He was supposed to be a star.
But
he was supposed to be a guy with like the splitter where he had strikeout stuff. And it's just throughout his career, all he has shown is that he's mid and that he's injury prone.
But those numbers aren't like the worst numbers for a pitcher ever. That's why I'd said, and before the season started, I said, whatever we get out of Casey Mize this year, I won't say as a wash, but I wasn't going to hold it against him entirely because he was coming off 2 major injuries and he hadn't really had the time.
Randall Smalls mentioned mentioned that in the chat as well.
Exactly. So I feel like if you made him a long reliever or put him in your bullpen, then maybe he would fare well with lesser innings because he is an injury-prone guy. He is somebody that's inconsistent with his stuff. But when his stuff is on, you can kind of see, what the vision was originally with him. I don't think you give up on him just yet. I would give him one more year in the bullpen to prove that he can be a part of his team.
All right. And for the record, saying he's expendable doesn't mean that I'm going to have pitchforks out until Scott Harris does something about him. It's more like if he were to get cut, I would just shrug my shoulders and move on. Number 6, Trey Sweeney.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, but until 2026.
Okay. So in a lesser role. Bridge to Bryce Rayner kind of?
Yeah. Okay, I wouldn't say lesser role right now because 2025, he needs to be your starting shortstop because I for damn sure don't want to see Javi Baez.
That's exactly
damn sure.
Bro,
but until 2026, yes.
I agree with KG. Until 2026, yes.
This is so tough because on paper, I want to say expendable because believe it or not, his numbers were also bad.
Yeah.
They just weren't worst shortstop ever. And in the playoffs, Trey Sweeney he just looked too big for the moment. He had a couple of nice hits, but his average was under 1 in the playoffs. Can't happen as your starting shortstop. However, I am going to say in a lesser role, which means, till about 2026, because of what I fear could happen if Trey Sweeney is not there. At the very least, Trey Sweeney is somebody who can come through in some big moments, puts up only normal bad numbers instead of historically bad numbers, and can play a little bit better defense than Javi Baez. So I'm going to say in a lesser role.
So when he was in I believe the Dodger system, did he ever make it up to the MLB?
No.
This was essentially his rookie year.
Yep.
Okay, so with that being considered, I mean, I think you should definitely keep him on the team. His batting numbers can improve, I feel like, and his defense is far better than what anything Javi Baez was giving you. Now, maybe I would add somebody, and that might mean Zach McKinstry. You might be expendable, but I would keep Trey Sweeney just based off defense alone.
I think Chuck Brewer brings up an interesting point, and I'm not mad at this. I want playoffs next year. Sweeney isn't that guy, so you want to put off playoffs next year. I will say this. What if, and I'm not saying this is the case, and I've been about Moneyball too, but I'm also okay with a big move. What if Scott Harris's big move is like a Willy Adames? Then in that case, with all due respect to Trey Sweeney, I'm not going to say punt him to the moon, but put him on the bench and make him like the utility infielder.
Exactly.
I would love that, and I get what you're saying. That's why in a vacuum, I would say, Trey Sweeney is expendable, but I never want to see Javi Baez on the field for the Detroit Tigers again. And Trey Sweeney Trey Sweeney was the guy who, in a lot of ways, gave this team a shot in the arm just by having some big games and by being better than Javi Baez. That's all it took.
Mm-hmm.
He can be bad and still have an OPS that's like 120 points higher than Javi Baez's. That was what Trey Sweeney's role was, and he played it beautifully in the regular season, not the playoffs.
I'm with Sam. I don't want to see Javi Baez.
But you will.
Get him out of here.
But you will.
I don't need your negativity, KG.
I'm just telling y'all what Scott Harris said.
And AJ411 says Max Clark is coming.
He is.
He's on his way.
Which might play a role
shout out to
into
Rogers.
one of my upcoming players on this list, but I'm going to start with one that I think will really be polarizing amongst the chat. Spencer Torkelson.
I knew this name was coming. He's going to be here, unfortunately.
He's going to be here, but it's about, is he a part of the young core? I'm okay with seeing what we have moving forward, and I don't know. I kind of like some of the X Factor moments in the playoffs. I guess you got to see what you got. I know that you were kind of on the fence with this one as well, KG.
For a good part of the season, I said expendable. And I'm really stuck between that and a lesser role. If I had to choose, I guess I would pick a lesser role because
can they wait on him anymore?
It's been 3 years.
Trying to go.
His numbers haven't really improved from his rookie season until now. Now, I will give him credit for making some improvements after being called back up in the second half of the season. He did make some improvements. He did hit more home runs. Some of his approaches at the plate were good, but you still saw flashes of the old Torque, or the Torque that we all know, that misses a lot of pitches, couldn't really square up a fastball and things of that nature. His defense improved as well in the second half and in the playoffs. And to be honest, in the playoffs, towards the end, you did start to see him come alive a little bit. I think you do keep him in a lesser role, but you have to go get another first baseman. He can't be your sole option at first base going forward.
Chat family is a little bit split right now on this one, man.
They're a little shaky on that.
Can you put the poll too when you get a chance?
Yeah, I'll definitely put the poll up there. Give me one more season with him. Just give me one more season with him. As KG said, you saw flashes of him towards that tail end of the season and during the playoffs as well too. I still like this guy. I still want to have confidence in him, but you still got to show me something this next season. So give me one more season out of him. I am going to go expendable because he's a guy who actually has a sample size. He has over 1,300 major league at bats and has an OPS that's 693. That's a really bad OPS, especially for somebody who has had a 30 home run season and still has a lifetime OPS of 693. It's not acceptable. Yeah. He doesn't hit enough. Even this past year, when you count him going to the minors, even with the time that he played, he didn't hit for enough power. He didn't hit for enough average. I get it. He was better when he was called back up, but then he followed that up by starting the playoffs by being like 0 for 14.
It was bad. His last couple games were all right, but
that's fair.
Yeah,
but that's not enough to sway me to we got to keep Torque.
Right.
As Chuck Brewer said, he's the ultimate tease because when he hits those Torque bombs, they look beautiful, but he'll also strike out a lot. He won't walk enough. He won't come through enough during the big moments. He'll run around third, one out. He'll pop it straight up in the air. That's a Torque special. We've all seen it. Everybody knows it.
And maybe it would be different if he was like a later round guy, but this was somebody that was drafted 1-1 coming out of college, breaking Barry Bonds type records. He was supposed to come in and hit the ground running, and we just have not seen that at all through 3 years.
I know this is going to sound crazy, but if you were to, to me, I talked about Willy Adames as a potential shortstop that Scott Harris looks at. Don't know if he will, but just my opinion. I've always been in the camp of, unless Torque showed enough, which to me he didn't, if you bring in somebody like even Jesse Winker, who's going to be cheap, you put him at first base. Because Jesse Winker is not a good defensive outfielder.
Can I ask you about your Winker?
You didn't have to. He was just going to put it on you.
That's the only option. Obviously, if Scott...
He just whipping it out.
Trench coat band.
Right.
Winker!
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Obviously, if Scott Harris wants to do something like, I don't know, Pete Alonso or the Christian Walker from Arizona, that would be another thing that I don't think I'd be mad at. But I just don't think Spencer Torkelson can be a part of this core. Has a sample size, and the majority of his career, he's been really bad.
Yeah.
Look at his rookie year numbers. Look at his numbers this year.
It's not much difference.
It's not.
So in reality, this season ahead is probably the last real assessment season for the Detroit Tigers because they got some of these young players still in the balance.
Yeah.
Some guys that perked up towards the end of the season. Some guys that were thrown in some big roles, and though they might not have performed in the way we wanted to, stat-wise, they still contributed to where this and helped this team exceed expectation. With how some of the players in the minors and when they're supposed to come up as well. Is this next season effectively for our Detroit Tigers one of the last before we see them lock in like we probably saw in the JV era?
Can you have an evaluation season coming off a playoff appearance?
No, not this season.
No, I understand, but
that's what influenced some of my stuff. That's why with when you're talking about Casey Mize and Torque and the season they just had and wanting to capitalize, that's why those two players in particular were ones I was like, I don't know. If this team is talking about really taking that next step forward, is a guy like Torque helping them do that?
Well, this season was more of a team evaluation. Now, next year will be more of an individual player type evaluation with certain guys. And he is one of those guys. Just to reiterate what Scott Harris said in his press conference, they really need Torque to step up in the offseason. They said it like they intend to bring him back, but they need to see major improvements from him going forward if he wants to be the opening day starter. So we will see Torque again. It's just about, can he make the improvements to really be that consistent guy or at least be a good bench piece to your batting lineup.
That's true.
All right. Last name on the list, which I think might be the one where we're most split. Wensiel Perez.
I'm not split at all.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a yes for me too.
I know, Sam. Here you come.
Hold on. Is there, Chase, are you in on this one? Winslow Perez, a part of the core?
Yeah, I like him. He seemed like a very, very solid player all throughout the season. He showed up in the postseason with his bat as well. So,
all right, now Sam.
All right, yeah,
I'm not. Whatever you can't say expendable. That's all I was saying.
No.
Okay,
I
cool.
was never gonna say expendable.
All right, bet. As long as you don't say that, we cool.
There are scenarios to me where Wenzel can even start a lot of games next year because honestly, I don't even hate the idea of Justin Henry Malloy or Kerry Carpenter getting some run at first base.
Absolutely.
I don't hate that. However, with Wenzel Perez, I see him as a future super utility player, especially when a guy like Max Clark comes up and you envision an outfield of Max Clark, Parker Meadows, and Riley Green. There's really not a spot to put him as a starter, and you can get Kerry Carpenter at DH, maybe JHM at first base, or Winker or Alonso. I'm thinking too far in the future, but when it comes to the core, I got to have these conversations. He had his moments certainly at the beginning of the year where he helped keep this team afloat when guys like Meadows were being sent down and Torque and Kerry Carpenter got hurt. He was one of the guys that stabilized the team and was at parts of the year one of your best hitters. However, as the season waned, Wenzel Perez did get hurt himself, and when he came back, his numbers fell off a little bit, almost to the point to where his final numbers weren't even good.
Yeah.
And that's why I say he's more of a utility player in the future. And for all of everything I hear about Wenzel Perez being really good in the postseason, which he came up with some timely hits. He had a lower postseason OPS than the guy everybody says choked Riley Green. Psst. Just saying.
You gonna defend his man?
Hey.
And shout out to Caden Kiter in the chat. He's a switch hitter as well, and I feel like you need that kind of versatility, in your lineup. But ultimately, Wenzel Perez is probably the most important call-up that they had this year. He stepped in pretty much from April on and gave this team a boost at the plate. Now, to Sam's point, he did have his struggles all in all because he's not really supposed to be in a starting role. Is he somebody that I would like to come off the bench next year? Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to what I thought, I view him as a core piece. I view him as like Mauricio Dubon on the Astros, or like what Marwin Gonzalez used to be for the Astros. He's a very useful utility player who can play all over. He's not going to be slotted in a position every day, but you can just kind of put him wherever you need him if there's injuries or whatever. You just need a bat in the lineup. The
only thing I will say to that, I get where you're coming from. I don't think Wenzel Perez will ever be like a Marwin Gonzalez.
I don't think he's going to be that good, but I think he can be that type of player, like the utility piece.
Yeah, no, he's got a role on this team. When it comes to a lot of the other younger players, I don't think he supplants like a Riley Green or a Kerry Carpenter or a Parker Meadows or even a Max Clark when he comes up. But as a utility player, as a guy, I mean, think about this. I hate to bring this up, but I have to. Kerry Carpenter still has not beaten the injury-prone allegations.
Yeah.
It happened to him even in the playoffs. Riley Green, he kind of did. He played 137 games and didn't miss a playoff game, but he still had a stint on the injured list. We still haven't seen, and I know we love him, and I believe he's going to show that next year. We have never seen Parker Meadows play a full season in the majors. I mean, last year even. It's amazing to even remember, but at one point he got sent to the minors. So having a guy like Wenzel Perez, who actually showed more throughout the entirety of the season than even a Parker Meadows, although he never had the highs of highs, he was here pretty much from May till the end of the year. He's valuable to have because injuries happen. And that's a great point. Maybe some fall-offs happen. Maybe Justin Henry Malloy isn't a part of. I mean, there's many scenarios to where Wenzel Perez can be a contributing member on this team. I just don't think he's part of the core.
And AJ Hinch knows how to kind of pull those strings sometimes with the batting lineup. We talk about situational hitting being something that they had to rely on this season. And there was a couple of times that AJ Hinch was able to call on his name to get the exact matchup he wanted, or to try and force the other manager to change the pitcher that's on the mound, because you could do a lot with Wenzel. So
yeah, absolutely.
I like
more times than not, he come through.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I know that I already said it, but I think I need to state this again. If it wasn't for a guy like Wenzel Perez, you would have been so far out of the playoff race that you never could have made this
Absolutely.
run. I understand that when like Parker Meadows got brought up and came back from his injury he suffered in Cincinnati, and when Torque got brought up, and when Riley Green came back and Kerry Carpenter came back, that kind of coincided with Wenzel Perez getting hurt himself. But he showed you at times in the playoffs just how valuable he can be. And for the record, I wasn't dissing him by saying that his playoff OPS was lower than Riley Green's. He came through in a lot of big situations. I'm just saying that when you think of Wenceel Perez, you think, man, he had himself a hell of a postseason. And people say that Riley Green choked, when in reality, that's not exactly how it worked out.
Tigers, man. I think this exercise showed me that the future is bright. I'm hoping that Chris Ilitch, Scott Harris, AJ Hinch and Cole, that they have this plan in place to really move this thing forward.
Sure.
I really do. I'm hoping that, like the Lions, to talk about this longevity of success, that's what they're building for. But that we don't have to wait as long as the Red Wings to see this success be continued. So let's rock, man.
Yeah.
What bills we got to pay?
We got the watch party in 1800.
Hey, let's rock, man. New Holland Brewing Company watch party and post-game show live at Hayes Socials in Shelby Township, and we want you guys out there, especially for that watch party. We heard you guys all last year, so every single watch party you all can out attend. And not just the food, not just the not just the other Lions fans. The environment is great, but also the other Woodward sports personalities that are there. And we had some chat family members that were out at the last watch party. This is dope. We want to see you guys out there. Get some free food as well. Soroki's, they do it right all the time. The heavyweights get things kicked off with instant reactions to all the big plays on the watch party. And then Stick and Anton, they finish off the night with the post-game show and instant analysis and phone calls, which are always a trip. Word to KG. This is all brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine. Talk to your local laundry. 1800 Tequila, which you will hear about soon. Sabbath Coffee, and I already told you about that. Soroki's.
1800 Tequila, of course.
1800.
It's the tequila that I took a shot of on air, and it was really, really good. Don't let my pain face fool you on that. Official tequila of Woodward Sports Lions watch parties and post-game show. Join 1800 Tequila and Woodward Sports every Lions game. Well, I'm not a real man when it comes to hard liquor. So I'm not even going to try to beat those allegations because I can't. Live at Hayes Social in Shelby Township and celebrate the wins with smooth 1800 Tequila. When it comes to hard liquor, KG.
Okay, all right.
Proud sponsor of your Detroit
Nice
Lions.
cleanup.
1800 Tequila, the best taste of tequila. Drink responsibly.
Hey.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit, the official Boys and Girls Club Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League. The final of the Youth Football League is occurring this Saturday at Ford Field. What a dream come true for these young kids. And shout out to the parents for enrolling those kids in this organization in order to give them that opportunity. There's some future Lions there. And next year, it is going to be even more difficult to get into this league because you might get a chance to play at Ford Field, and that is incentive in and of itself. So get your kids signed up, or even if you don't, just go to their website, find out some information and maybe make that decision at a later time. But it's a great organization, and that final is going to be electric. Maybe some future Lions in there, maybe not, but they're all going to be better for it. It's the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan.
We're going to have boots on the ground for that, too.
Hey. Yes, definitely. And you know what, kids? After you get through playing some football at Ford Field, head over to Soroki's. I know you're going to be hungry. Come on. Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza has a new limited time offer just in time for this football season. They're debuting their fresh signature wings. Grab your friends, order a New York style pizza, and add some fresh wings to that order as well for games this weekend. Try one of their 7 different flavors that you can see up on screen right now. If you don't have time to go in store and order, you can always order online at Sorokis.com.
And we are back. What up, though, people? Thank you guys for kicking off today with Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys, man. Smash that like button for the WUW Crew. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the run them likes up. Hey, John F. Lord, I see you. He put hashtag Kid Kool-Aid. Who? Woodward Jr. Woodward Sports Jr. is on the way. Who? Kool-Aid is going to be on the sidelines at the final for the Boys and Girls Club 3C final, football final at Ford Field. Hey, he's going to be out there. I believe Stick's daughter might be out there as well. It's some talented people that are going to be in the building. And, like you said, WUW Crew is going to be in the building, boots on the ground. JB Smooth and I will be broadcasting. Can't wait to do it, man. Interviewing not just the people who help this thing go on, but also the players, too. So it's going to be a cool
Before we get to what's trending, I just have to say one thing. There was a time during the season, because I've drawn my swords a lot when it comes to Riley Green. I don't know why I have to, but the chat makes it necessary, to where one of the things that I said when it came to why people undervalue him is because he wasn't Spencer Torkelson.
Mic drop.
I see these people in the chat right now. If Torque did what Green did last year, I would be hearing your orgasmic sounds from here.
Orgasmic sounds.
Shaquille Oatmeal, Rando Smalls, I'm talking to you. You.
Bro, Sam is nuts, bro. He got some screws loose, dog. I fuck with Sam, though. That's my guy. That's my dog, man.
JB Smooth, what's up? Let's get these. Let's spark up word to this phone, man.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
We talk about Jay Bizzo.
What's up, fellas? What's going on?
What up, though?
Before I hop into some videos that I have for you guys, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a very special person being inducted into the Michigan Hall of Fame tonight.
Oh, really?
One Mr. Braylon Edwards.
You damn right.
He looks familiar.
He does look familiar. I wonder where I've seen that guy before. It's a very special night for Braylon. Shout out to him once again, being inducted to the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame with a couple of other Michigan players as well, too. Jake Long, Larry Foote as well, Coach Foote. So shout out to him. I believe we will have boots on the ground as well, too, at this event, too.
Oh,
so
yeah, definitely will.
That is going to be nice as well, too. So shout out to Braylon once again. It's an honor to actually, even know him, even be in the booth to just be around this guy. Trust me.
What a last calendar year for him as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. Definitely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm glad that he's able to be honored in this way. Obviously for his sports achievement, but he drives. We know we see him on a daily basis. He drives to be a good person. He gives his time here so we can also get a little bit more. Shout out to Braylon Edwards, and then we don't forget about what he did at that gym as well to save that old man's life. From an attack. Like, that was wild to me, man. That old guy, he was told, would have passed away if he wasn't there on the scene. So shout out to Braylon Edwards. You deserve this, like I said, for everything you did on the football field. But this is the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. It's also to honor our guys from our hometown. Shout out to you, Braylon Edwards.
Man, 100%.
Man, Braylon Edwards is the man. People don't even understand how much I idolized him when I was a young 12-year-old Michigan fan when he was there. He was... I get it. There's been others who have been good, like the Crabtrees and the Des Bryants, just to name a few. But Braylon Edwards is the greatest wide receiver I've ever seen on a college football field. Am I being biased? Maybe. But he has a case. That man was a Biletnikoff Award winner, a multiple 1,000-yard seasons, and was a top 5 pick in the NFL. Man. Dude was something. He was built different, and he saves lives on the side, and he's a pretty damn good guy himself. Yeah. Glad to know him.
Absolutely. Absolutely glad to know this man. Shout out to him once again for getting this honor to be inducted to the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. But you guys, I know at times some people have actually had to work the night shift sometimes.
Yeah,
but
tell me about it.
You get bored. So what do you do when you get bored working the night shift? You play Call of Duty, obviously.
Hey, that's smart. I mean, somebody gonna break in and steal everything, but that's smart though. I mean, the good use of your time, I guess.
Bro, I remember the show Chuck.
He had the Acura dealership going crazy.
I'm sitting here now like scheming. How do I make something like this happen?
Right?
How do we get this up on the back wall? That's what I need to do.
He should have never found that HDMI port on that big screen. Once he saw that, it was over, boy. I don't blame him though. I probably do the same thing, man.
I mean, hey, it's Call of Duty. What can you say? I know Kyler Murray is definitely going to be out once the new Call of Duty drops.
Oh yeah,
so
it's over for the season.
It's over
once that
season,
come out,
Arizona.
Black Ops 6 looking like a mean one.
I know it does look tough, but man, have you guys ever been at the airport and just wanted to get on the plane, just wanted to get on your boarding pass, and next thing you know, you got a Karen running all over the airport.
Come on,
acting like Barry Sanders.
Wait, what's going on? Wait, what? Is she like on the luggage thing?
Oh,
whoa!
Oh, she done stole her shit. Oh,
making a
break. The juice,
breaking tackles.
Oh,
spin move.
Oh,
boy!
Karen got wheels.
Let's go. Can
she got wheels.
Can she rush from the edge?
Can she just hopped over the edge? She hopped over the fucking rope.
There's our Hutchinson replacement right there.
Dog. She just hopped over the fucking rope, dog. Dog, bro, run that shit back.
Did you see the Hutch spin move?
Dog.
Yeah. Come on.
Dog.
Off the line, Hutch spin move this lady got.
Dog, run this shit back towards the end. She did a fucking hurdle over the fucking rope. Dog.
You know
where her
what?
luggage bag?
With the bag in her hand.
All right, come here.
I'm on my David Montgomery-ish this morning.
Ooh, come here, got him. Take the ankles. No, now watch. She gonna hop. She gonna fucking vertical. What the fuck? Dog, Karen got wheels, bro.
One more time, JB. I'm sorry.
It's always somebody nutty at the fucking
crazy,
airport,
dog.
too.
Dog, why? What is going on at the airport? You know what it is? People are facing them edibles. They're smoking the last of their stash. They're getting a little bit of, and then all of a sudden they getting in here and they just are losing themselves, bro. I don't know which is worse, this one or
juke move.
Airplane lady who was seeing things.
Where?
I mean, that was on the plane. I think everybody had to deboard and stuff like that. That's way
worse. Yeah, that's way worse.
Hey, maybe if we get this lady, the edge rushing problem will be solved.
Hey, you know.
Put her opposite Josh Pascal, and man, quarterbacks will be shaking in their boots.
I'm telling you, you saw the spin move, man. Maybe we got to see. We're gonna have to hit up our brother Broder to see if she's worthy enough to make Broder's harem.
Oh no,
she might run off on you, man. Damn.
Hey, look, that's what we got. KDK Law, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Karen definitely has some spin moves there. We might need her on the team. We got to reach out to her as well. And finally, I will end what's trending with this because you guys know it's spooky season. I love Halloween so much. Tonight is actually a full moon, so you might want to stop at Burger King to pick up the new purple Whopper that they are giving out for free.
I'm good on that.
In light of the Addams Family Wednesday thing that they have going on right now. So, hey, it's free. It is a purple Whopper, though. So
yeah, but it's going to turn your shit black.
That's what I'm saying. Think about it on the other end.
The dog, when they tried to do this before, they had the little black bun, you know, the black Whopper, and it was turning people's, like, fucking feces a weird color, bro. So I'm just saying, like, you might want to just lay off of that. Like, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
What up, Chase?
Burger King was actually ranked as the #1 unhealthiest fast food option.
Wow.
If that's something that you take into consideration with like your diet or anything like that, out of all of like the fast food chains, Burger King was ranked the unhealthiest in like a recent poll I saw.
So Chase is just a have it your way hater.
No, I used to work at Burger King out of high school, man.
I
was whipping them up. I used to push them into the broiler.
Hey, I feel it. Push it right to the broiler. So they really are fire like grilled?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
it's like you go on this conveyor belt, like flame broiled, and then like they're on a timer, and it just like spits them out. You just put like the little catch thing, and it just like they just roll off into the belt, and they just stack right up.
I can second that as well with Chase because I used to work at Burger King for a while. So yeah, just throw the little patties on there. They slide out the other side. But I will tell you this: don't ever get too close to that damn broiler because I've been burnt a couple times.
Here goes Chase.
I'm
don't
telling
eat
you
the
right
food.
now.
It's so unhealthy. Oh yeah, man.
But it's flame grilled.
So sexy through the flame.
Right.
Chase, I put the salt on
sexy
there.
at all.
Right. No, them Whoppers do go crazy.
Chase is the ultimate enigma, man.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
I appreciate that.
I get it.
You
You have experience, so you understand. But you also, I think if I was at Edge, you'd still think the Lions would win the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure that's
Sam, if you were on Edge, I would say let's wait and see what we look like against the Vikings and the Titans. Just like I'm saying with Josh Pascal and everyone else we have on the roster.
All right.
I'm not a reactive individual. That's why you and me are very different.
Brendan Dillinger. I think Culver's is better than most too.
Oh, come on, Culver's. That's a different league.
But the difference is, Chase, to follow up on you,
Exhibit A for the defense.
No, let me just say this. If the pass rush struggles, you won't admit anything. You'll just be like,
I said we need to wait and see what happens. What they look like is going to give us the answer. I'm saying we don't have an answer yet. We have to wait and see. And what we see will give us an answer, whether we need to go find somebody or if we've played good enough as a team to just hunker down and try to ride this out until next season when we get Hutchs back.
Ride this down until next season and miss a year of the Super Bowl window. But that's fine. That's fine.
That's your opinion.
Y'all gonna be smashing that like button for this guy.
Dog, for real. This shit go crazy, man.
Because I'm sure the Kansas City Chiefs were missing Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed last year. I'm sure the Rams were missing Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. I'm sure that happened, right? I'm sure they were. They weren't, obviously. Just saying.
Bro, Sam and Chase. Sam and Chase is like the family members that got beef and they always argue at the family reunion. I swear.
And for the record, I hope you're right because I want the Lions to win. But if you're wrong, you will make excuses because that's who you are, dude.
What excuses? All I said is we have to wait and see. What's the excuse that I'm going to be making?
But if it plays out not in your take, you won't admit to anything.
All I said was we have to wait and see. I haven't even really made a take. That's just saying, like, let's be patient and watch.
What if the Lions get no pressure on Sam Darnold? Then what are you going to say?
Okay, then it looks like we need to get more pressure on Sam Darnold. I mean, like...
Yeah, nice answer there.
Like, Sam, if it's raining outside, should I bring an umbrella?
That depends on if you
like
if you're
asking like obvious questions.
I'm not saying you are. I'm saying that some people are and some people aren't. But
no, fuck that, Chase. Get your lick back. Get your lick back.
No, that's fine. All I'm saying is that you sound a little pie in the sky, but that's all right. You're good for the slappies, and that's fine because you are one, and that's okay. I'm a Michigan slappy.
I'm calling you a simpleton.
I'm a Michigan slappy, but.
Yeah, he told me I was stupid on Big D one time.
No, big facts. He was mad at you because you were smart.
Yeah, he got mad. He's like, Chase isn't smart. He like flipped out at Neil.
Chase, let me just say this.
That's how I know him in his head.
I've said a couple of things in emotion that I wish I could take back. That was one of them. You are smart. I just think that the way you look at football makes me want to stab myself in the eyes sometimes. But that's okay.
Damn,
that's all right. It's the beauty of debate and banter because you probably feel the same way about me.
I think Sam. I've told you straight to your face, and I'll tell everybody in the chat. I respect you 100%. I admire your conviction. I love sitting here talking with you on camera, off camera. I think you're a great guy.
But you a bit. No,
in this case, I'm going to say it positively. I'm going to use an old term. I'm rubber. You're glue. Everything you said to me sticks back to you in a positive way.
Appreciate it.
We're friends.
That's still a shot, but okay.
I'm just using old terminology, man.
I just want to grab my popcorn right now.
Right.
That's it for what's trending, you guys. Let's hop into some mailbag.
Let's rock.
Heavyweight fight, man.
You know what? Let me tell the people about second best, and then anything else before Dispo.
Dispo, Mark White, and then was Spellman.
Hey, you know what? Want to know where the best pregame Lions party is? Every single home game.
Tell me about it.
Detroit's very own second best bar, located on 42 Watson Street. Watson, them boys good.
Sexual chocolate.
Hey, for the ultimate fan experience, enjoy some smooth Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey while catching the Woodward Sports pregame show only at Second Best Bar. Come get some.
And Dispo.
Absolutely, Dispo. How would you like to win free bud for a year? That's right, free smoke, weed, reefer, flower, marijuanas, however you refer to your favorite cannabis product.
icky.
It's your chance to win free cannabis for a year, compliments of Dispo Dispensary. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the screen, sign up, and you will be entered for a chance to win.
Shrubs.
Don't miss out on this insane giveaway. Sign up today to elevate your game. Dispo Dispensary, your local plug, must be 21 or older to enter. Terms and conditions apply.
Someone who doesn't smoke pot, Mark White.
Well, maybe he does, but he's coherent when he, wheels and deals. Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
And get some weed, buy a house, and you know what? Top it off with a car.
Man, Feldman. All of the essentials in life, right? Well, all the essentials at KG and JB.
Don't do all that the same week. The feds might be on you.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. That is where I got myself a vehicle. That's where Matt Broder got himself a vehicle. Neil Rule got himself an EV, and old Kool-Aid might be joining the Feldman family as well. They give the greatest customer service. If you go in knowing what you want, they can get you out of there in the exact same day. And I am still satisfied with the car that I brought from Feldman over a year and a half ago. So if you guys want to get yourself the best deal on a car and even come hang out with us every other Monday, go to Feldman Chevrolet, specifically the Novi location, if you want to hang out with us.
Hey, and you guys already know it's time for the Wake Up Woodward Mailbag segment presented by Feldman Automotive Group. Get those mailbag questions into the chat. I know there were some questions throughout the show. I told some people like Chuck and others, save those questions for the end of the show. Someone else also had a question about the Tigers' top 3 rotation. And so get that back in. I want to discuss those things.
It was Chuck Brewer.
Was it Chuck Brewer?
Yeah, I remember that. I'll go ahead and answer.
I don't remember the players he stated, but from my ball notes, especially you and KG, who do you believe is going to be that 3?
Well, he said Skubal, Jackson Jobe, and Reese Olson. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, not at all.
I'm not mad at that. And hey, maybe, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but maybe Brant Herter's in the rotation. He was a starter in the minors, and what he did as that bulk reliever, he excelled. So there's a chance for him. There's also a chance to maybe the Walker Buehler, Chris Fetter reclamation. By the way, Walker Buehler pitched well last night. He still got it. He just really floundered with the Dodgers. Nothing that Dr. Fetter can't help. He did it with Jack Flaherty.
Or if you spent some goddamn money, you could have Corbin Burns and then recreate JV and Max Scherzer. That's what you could do.
Come on, little Chris.
Okay. If that happened, to quote something that I said earlier, you would be able to hear my orgasmic sounds from the coast of California.
Yeah.
So, just saying. I mean, it's like porn to me. There we go.
Quick draw McGraw over there.
Ed O'Neill, and I think this is a little bit of a misconception, but Feldman Mailbag.
Ed O'Neill with a misconception. It's no day that ends in Y. Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on, dog. Yeah, listen. You're hilarious. Last year, dog, I just got this press release for the Motor City Cruise. And last year, my kids, they loved every aspect of the games. But one thing scared the hell out of them, and it was the mascot. I just got the press release that they're going to introduce a new mascot this year. And for whatever reason, it's hilarious. Shout out to you guys. The what we call them? Kool-Aid packets.
Yes. Kool-Aid Jammers.
That scary looking mascot. Even me, I'm side-eyed. I'm like, I don't know, bro. Get away from my kids.
You know those little Kool-Aid bottles with like that?
The little
those
jammers?
are so good.
The Kool-Aid Jammers.
Jammers.
The Kool-Aid Jammers. Yeah, and the basketball Kool-Aid Jammers. Bro.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that.
Yeah, you didn't see it in the chat yesterday. I was trying to give it out there.
Let's rock. Hey, thank you, brother. Ed O'Neill, though. Feldman Mailbag. For Sam, it is not okay to think, let's just wait and see how the Lions D-line plays versus the Vikings, or must we react without seeing how the team will perform? And I know it's a question directed at you, but for me, I feel like all of us believe it's okay for Brad Holmes and Cole to wait until the trade deadline. But what we're just addressing right now is exactly what they're addressing. Brad Holmes is looking at Hasson Reddick. We're going to talk about it.
I never said make a move tomorrow. You know, I think they're going right up until the trade deadline. Like literally maybe an hour or two before it's over before they make a move.
Yeah, I was going to say JB Chase before now. I'm going to let you address it.
Yeah, because I think B and Chase and me in the chat can actually break a little bit of bread. Yeah. I'm not mad if Brad Holmes decides to evaluate and make his decision when the trade deadline gets closer, especially if teams with stars that they need to get rid of, that they're not going to win with anyway. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not mad at that, but you guys can't be mad at me for being skeptical of their pass rush with no Aiden Hutchinson.
Right.
You can't, which we all rightfully so did, just like, fall over ourselves blowing our wads over the season he had, as you should, and then be like, we're fine. Can we agree on that? Can we meet in the middle a little bit? I'm sure a lot of you can't, but I'm trying.
No, it's trade deadline for me as well, too. Just take this next game, evaluate the talent that you have. If you see something missing, all right, go out there and make a move. Za'Darius Smith doesn't move the needle for me, but if you're going to do that, it is a bargain move. And if you do, I would go out there and get Hasson Reddick as well, too, just so you have the double backup and insurance as well. But if neither one of those are in the cards, then go out there and get the best defensive end that you see from Cleveland, which is Myles Garrett. So that's just me.
Big Con 51, Feldman Mailbag. Are we a little crazy to think the Tigers can create the same magic next year? I don't think we're crazy. That's crazy at all.
But they shouldn't have to do it the way that they did it this year because, one, it's not a sustainable model. Just having one starting pitcher and a whole bunch of relievers, while it can work for a good amount of time, it won't get you to a World Series. We've seen it with the Moneyball strategy. As good as it is, it doesn't necessarily get you a championship. So if they add more to this team, yes, they can get right back to where they were last year, I believe so, but you can't do it the way you did it this year.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Was there an element of magic? Absolutely. But was there also an element of like Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter coming back healthy? Yes. Mm-hmm. They have the horses, to me, with another move or two. If you keep like the Riley Greens and the Kerry Carpenters and the Meadows and the Scoobles and the Tyler Holtons and all of that, that to me is a really strong core. That to me is something to where if you make the right supplementary pieces, if Jackson Jobe comes up and is a starter, if Reese Olson can stay healthy, if they can make a move to maybe replace like Spencer Torkelson or Trey Sweeney, I think you might be damn near, I don't want to say wall-to-wall division winners because we saw how tough this division now seems, but they got to make the playoffs next year. You can't have this run and then have a lot of the same pieces and fall off.
It's a fact.
Charles McClain, Feldman Mailbag. If James Houston is inactive again, are the Lions holding him out for a trade or just waiting on some depth signings to get acclimated with the playbook? Then Houston is gone.
If James Houston is inactive this week, you got to kick him off the team.
Exactly.
You do.
No, for real.
I'm not trying to be a prick because I defended James Houston against the people who wanted him on the practice squad to start the year. But it turns out a lot of those people had more merit in what they were saying because this man can't even touch the field. You'd thought when Marcus Davenport went down, this is James Houston's opportunity, but you barely saw him. And when he did, he was basically an offsides penalty waiting to happen and basically nothing else. So this is his chance. Hopefully he proves that he is a gamer, that maybe he can recreate some of the magic from 2022. I'm not holding my breath, but if he can't get on the field this week, it's over for him.
Yeah. Hey, and JB Smooth, I just sent you the new mascot renderings as well as the old mascot. If you can get those ready, I will read our last mailbag question and I'll show you guys what the upgrade. I'll show you what the upgrade is looking like, bro.
Okay.
The new one is dope. It's more akin to Hooper. The old one, it was like somebody put Sonic in a blender. But we'll talk about it. IT Hips, Feldman Mailbag. If the Lions lose by double digits and apply no pressure to Sam Darnold, do you see Brad Holmes making a splash trade next week?
I don't even want to think about that possibility.
Don't even want to. It seems impossible that would happen.
It does.
Terrell Williams and what they have already, it should work.
I know, but Aiden Hutchinson's a big loss, and the Vikings have good tackles.
Yeah.
Whether you and if you can protect Sam Darnold from the Josh Pascals of the world, he's throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson. I'm not glazing the Vikings. We're going to get more on this later, but they're formidable. You can't overlook them. With Aiden Hutchinson in the lineup, I'd be like, oh yeah, the Lions got this. Without him, I think it's kind of a pick-em. But hopefully Aaron Jones doesn't play, because that might sway me to the Lions side definitively.
I think the timeline would be the same, but I think it almost guarantees that they would make a move at the deadline, like if that were to happen. So,
anybody else, or is that a show?
I think that's a show.
You want to show these?
You got to show them before. I'm telling you, when I saw the press release, I had to chuckle instantly because.
So I'm assuming the one out in the street is the old one, right?
Yeah.
I just saw him the other day. So the Hooper done got a makeover.
What the hell is this? What is
That
this?
is kind of scary.
Oh yeah, that looks like something for like Dia de los Muertos or Dia de los Muertos.
I'm not
Day of the
mad
Dead.
at it.
It's like Bizarro World Sonic, man. That's the old one.
Yeah, for real. It's cranked
didn't
out
like
Sonic. Sonic on meth.
I don't
Wait a
like
minute.
this at all.
I'm not mad at it.
Guys, what, Chase?
Dia de los Muertos is the Day of the
just
Dead.
Day of the Dead.
Sorry, Sam. Do you not familiar with Southwest Detroit and
Sam,
Mexican
what's
town?
that?
Sam?
What's wrong with the Day of the Dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam, I don't know what it is, man. You just
Would you like to have a discussion about the Pythagorean theorem?
I'm saying that looks like
Jamie, don't put the other one up yet.
Sam, that's hate, bro. I gotta call it like I see it. That's hate.
Or a Freud? Which one? Let's have it.
I bet with Pavlov we could get you trained up real well.
I'm not the one that he's traded. Chase.
You mad because my man culture?
Let me go get the bell. Hey, Sam, freak out. Sam, freak out.
Calm as a cucumber, baby. Calm as a cucumber.
Well, he hated Ben Wallace's fro, so of course he hates Spanish words as well. It makes sense. It just makes sense.
Words. It's just the only person who would be like Dio de las Muertes is of course it's Chase.
Damn.
Of course it's Chase.
Big hate, bro.
Pretentious Chase. I love him. I can be pretentious too, but like you all call me out on it. But Chase, man. You love him. You know what? You love him because you hate me, and that's okay. I can wear the black hat.
Sometimes you got to be the villain, Sam.
I am the villain.
Yeah.
Brad Holmes, so
I am the villain.
Dog, that's funny.
I am Pennywise.
November
I am the
12th,
Joker.
on a Tuesday,
I haunt your dreams and your thoughts and your fears.
at the Wayne State Fieldhouse. But he's not haunting you at the Wayne State Fieldhouse. That's the old mascot. Listen, Nitro is set to make his change in his debut. Hey,
all right, that's better.
That's a way better upgrade, bro.
Yeah.
They say that his idol is the Pistons Hooper, so they're not even family.
Shout out Nitro. That's
Shout out Nitro.
That's kind of cool.
That one is a much better design, yo. Much better.
Oh,
Shout
yeah.
out to Dante 151
Oh, yeah.
real quick.
Yep.
Devontae Adams, $4.99 super chat. Hopes for long-term Jets contract after Raiders trade amid NFL rumors. Also, the Titans just released Jamal Adams. Also, what the hell?
Jamal Adams' fall off needs to be studied. Ever since that 1 year he had in 2019 where he was just completely a dominant safety, he got hurt and he's been awful.
Yeah.
He's unplayable.
Also,
since he left
breaking
Seattle.
news.
Yeah.
Jordy Nelson said he's coming out of retirement to play with Aaron Rodgers one more time.
Kiss my ass.
Okay, because Jordy
Jordy
Nelson
Nelson could kiss
is
my
the
ass.
same as Devontae Adams. That's
Who wants to play with Aaron Rodgers right now, bro?
But if you're Devontae Adams, can you blame him?
Yeah, no.
That was his NFL nirvana.
Yeah, but-
It wasn't the same guy, but he probably thinks he can save him.
Okay, I hope so.
He's confident in his abilities. When all's right, he's still one of the best receivers in the league.
Y'all shouldn't have let the Bills get Amari Cooper. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's fair.
Yeah, they missed it.
Yes,
Josh
y'all
Allen's
shouldn't
about to
have-
be
He was
MVP.
doing it without
Yeah.
real receivers. So I'm just saying.
Josh Allen's about to eat, bro.
Is that a show, fellas?
I think so, man. Let's
Hey,
get
you
up out
know
of
what? I just got a press conference from Brody of the Motor City Cruise, their PR coordinator. I have
Shout
some
out.
Content out. But Brady, what are our sales guys? He just walked in. What up, though, brother? I had to make sure that I made that distinction the right way this time. Shout out to Brady. Shout out to Chris, man. Those guys do great work for our sales team and making sure that we have all of these great reads, ad reads to read to you guys. But I think that's a show. Shout out to that dude, Justin. Our brother Matthew Brother, we love you. Intern Chase, you over there cheesing.
Yeah, I hope
Intern
that
Chase, what up, though?
it's been a great Thursday. I hope you guys are smiling just as big as I am. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day too. Stay tapped
Chase
in.
feel
11
like
to
you won the
1,
middle battle.
2 to 4, 5 to 7. Heavyweights are gonna be at the Hall of Fame induction for Braylon tonight. So shout out Braylon. Congrats to you.
Right. They're live
And
streaming
it's been a great morning.
Finish it.
Just remember, Chase, it's easy to do what you do. It's hard to do what I do. It's hard to go against the grain. It's easy to pander to the slappies. I'm just saying.
It's getting spicy. Look at Brady over there.
Easy.
Look at this.
Slappy.
Sales is
You see it? I mean, it's a tale as old as time.
You see Feldman up there, right, sales guy?
You guys see the bell reaction just a little bit delayed. Once we get trained up a little bit better, you'll see the freak out come a little faster.
Uh-oh.
That's all right, Chase.
Brady and Chris is like, hurry the hell up, bro.
Oh,
They
so
was
we got
waiting
Fox
outside
2
the whole
time.
time.
Shout out Fox 2, by the way. Shout out Ryan Ermanni, Dan Miller, and all the great guys there. This elite, wonderful, stupendous, great, magnificent, awesome, better than the rest. There ain't no booth that's like these guys here. I'm talking about the Bar King over here. I'm talking about TD Extreme over there. In the sound booth, we got Woodward Sports' #1 draft pick, that is KG, aka Black Hollywood. And Detroit's #1 draft pick.
B-. B-. You getting there, man.
Sometimes you take the passing grade.
Hey, but shout out to the chat. We love y'all, man. Shout out to my team. We did another one today. And also, me and JB, we got some cooking, man, that we probably will announce tomorrow in the wrestling world, man. We got some shit locked down for next week. Very excited about it, man. Very excited.
Let's rock. Woodward Sports' MVP in the TD booth. It is JB Smooth.
Yo, this has been a very entertaining show. I will say that. Shout out to Sam and Chase for both of this, but man, this got a little wild and a little spicy too, but I like it. I'm here for it as well too. Almost Friday, everybody. It's almost Friday, and as KG said, me and him have some wrestling things in the works right now, so just stay tapped in. Big news coming.
The vet of the squad, the vet of the network, that is Flannel Sam. The more things change, the more things stay the same. What up, though, brother?
I'll tell you what, chat. You are creating a monster that you don't even know. I'm talking to you, Rando Smalls. You, Rando Smalls. You're an old man, and I still know more about baseball than you. You. Tick tock, tick tock.
Oh shit!
What the fuck? I think he just did it to Kimbe Mutombo.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Sam is a media creation.
It's your boy Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. It's been a show, man. I'm hoping that you guys were well entertained, well informed, love the discourse, love the chase, and the flannel discourse as well. What a day. But I'm hoping that you guys are blessed as well. Go ahead and smash that like button. We appreciate all the support. It's been Wake Up Woodward. Let's have a good one.